Greetings, everyone. It is Dynasty Mir Search for Uhuru. Thank you so much for joining us. As we always do, we just want to thank you all for the support. It really means a lot. Again, thank you all for the support. It really means a lot. Also, go to searchforuhuru.com. Go to dynastymir.com, and all the brands will be there. So go to dynastymir.com. Go to dynastymir.com. While you're there, make sure you join the email list. And then also, too, make sure you grab a book. Buy a book, newest release. It's Libation Time, A Children's Guide to the Ancestors. Make sure you buy a book. Also, grab your Black Love or Die Trying shirt while you're there. Grab your merchandise, grab your books. Like, share, and subscribe to the content as well. Guys, we need you to share the content, okay? It doesn't cost anything for you to hit that share button. Again, so we can continue to grow this platform. Again, hit that share button. Doesn't cost you guys anything. Also, make sure you hit that like button. As well, please hit that like button. But let me take that back. Go to searchforuhuru.com. Go to searchforuhuru.com. Click on travel. All your travel needs, car rental, flights, car rental, hotels, entertainment, all right there, guys. So no more cheapo air, no more Momondo, no more, what's the other one? Priceline. Go to searchforuhuru.com, click on the travel tab, follow the instructions, book all your travel through Search for Uhuru.
Yo, you got flights now? Whoa, this guy.
Yeah, let's jump right into it, guys. So let's jump right into it real quick. Let me share the screen. Yeah, man. Like I said, everybody, we are expanding. We are expanding. Like I said, we are expanding, everybody. So, whenever you guys, like I said, when you guys super chat, when you guys contribute, I make sure I reinvest into the brand. That's what I do. Let's share the screen real quick. All right, so when you go to searchforuhuru.com, let me make the screen bigger real quick. Let's see here. Go ahead and expand the screen. Go to searchforuhuru.com. You're going to click on travel. When you click on travel, you're going to click on the thumbnail, and that's going to take you to the booking site. All right. So you'll go right here, book all your travel, cars, cruises, flights, hotels, vacations, more. When it comes to Africa, give me a call personally. But anywhere, here in America, anywhere else, hit me up. Africa, I want to be more involved. So, but anywhere else, guys, go ahead, book your hotels, cruise, flights, everything. Search for Uhuru.com, click on travel. There it is. There it is. Let me stop the screen. There we go. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. With that being said, patreon.com, search for Uhuru as well. Patreon.com, search for Uhuru. Shout out to Mufasa in the chat room, everybody. Without further ado, we have the brother, Pan-Africanism Strikes Back, brother Brandon. What's good, Brandon?
What's up, man? Is it okay if I post my channel link in your comments? So
of course. You can, of course. Go ahead.
Look, y'all got to go like my channel if y'all going to be over here getting all this good information. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, guys, make sure you subscribe to Pan-Africanism Strikes Back as well. Make sure you subscribe.
Yeah, we can't be having Karen follows me through, the Toyota dealership, with more views than the real black media. y'all got to do y'all due diligence, bro. Look, I didn't know so many people had channels with thousands of subscribers who wasn't talking about nothing until all this drama broke out. Now I'm seeing dudes like, yo, how did this guy get 212,000 subscribers? I looked through his thing and he's talking about ridiculous. These people are talking about just ridiculous stuff. To go with the title, it's time for us to really do. Thank you, honey. It's time for us to do a real reset. Oh, I need 2 packs of tea. Sorry. But it's time for us to do a real reset on ourselves globally, man. And part of that is just raising the consciousness. And you don't have to agree with everything that we say, but you have to acknowledge that you are able to get true information here. Me and Dynas do not have a dog in the fight to say our goal is the intention of what we're doing is to help our people globally, whether they be on the continent or they be, in the diaspora. You cannot deny that. So when you come and you receive information from us, the one thing you could bank on is that anything we say, whether you agree with it or not, is coming from the position of wanting to help our people survive, the future, right? So if that can't get a like, if that can't get a subscription, I think people really need to ask themselves what exactly is their goal. What are they trying to do? Because even if you say, oh, Brandon's a Trump supporter, all this stuff. Well, Brandon is black like you. Brandon has a black family like you. Brandon wants to see black people do it just like you. And for me, that's enough to get me supporting a person and at least hearing what they have to say. This is why I listen to people like Kanye West, different people, because I'm like, look, at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? This person, it looks just like me. So right. I at least got to give them my ear to hear what they talking about. And if that involves me, hitting the subscribe button, I mean, even people like Mac Measy, Black American, I'm subscribed to those channels, not because I agree with them, but because I know that when it all comes down, those people will probably fight with me and fight harder than the average person who's like, yeah, my chakras are lined up, but they won't like, they won't subscribe, they won't purchase a book, they won't purchase a t-shirt. We have to stop being so non-committal. So my YouTube likes list is all black media, people who I get information from, and I still listen because sometimes I can gain a new perspective or information that I need to go, research. So we have to do a reset of our mentality. That's just reality. So go like and subscribe, like Dynas, support his channel in all ways, buy his products. Go look at his website just to see what's going on over there because he's working. I mean, this dude, I get an email from Dynas every single morning, and I know I ain't that consistent. And it's like he's working hard to create a space for us. You know what I'm saying? I'm over here talking to my damn family members about this channel and what it offers because people are thinking there's nothing for us. Our people are still getting their information off of Facebook and Twitter and YouTube, but not from us. We need to change that. We need to be able to come here just like they got Fox News and the white people got MSNBC and Fox News. They have two opposing sides that are dishing out information so they can go to one side, get one viewpoint, and another side to get another viewpoint. We got to start doing that, and we need to do that within the black space, period.
With that being said, make sure you guys support Brother Brandon. Go subscribe to his page. Also, hit the like button as you come to the chat room again. Please hit the like button. Now, Brandon, why is this black global reset important? Because this is the thing. We see what's going on in Nigeria, I think, which is playing a huge role in the much needed global reset. Because I mean, people are fed up with the BS there. Here in America, black people are fed up with the left. So it's like it's a global reset that's needed. But so what's the impact if this global reset was to happen?
The global reset is basically to define that is we all need to start realizing that if we take a loss anywhere, we take a loss everywhere. Black people have to start thinking like a union. A lot of black people talk about, I got a union job, right? But they don't even take the characteristics of the union job into their dealings with their own race. The global reset is so necessary because we still are operating in this space where we look at, like Tupac said, I need to learn to see you as a brother, instead of two distant strangers. We still operate with each other on that level, right? And you see that because that's true because we see a lot of different people. We have channels dedicated to talking trash on Africa. We got channels dedicated to talking trash on people from the diaspora. Go find me a channel by a Jewish person that's dedicated to talking trash on Jewish people, by an Asian person that's dedicated to talking trash by Asian people. If you do, it's a comedic channel, a spoof, like a vaudeville type thing, and it's all jokes. It's like when SNL talks about the United States government. We have people who are committed. They have a vested interest, right, in just down talking people from the same race as them. We got to change that mentality. That has to stop, right? And all of it comes as, we need to see we need to magnify the differences between us instead of magnifying the similarities. If I go to our land in up in Shasta County. It's in a place called Cottonwood, right? We got 160 acres up there. That town is 100% white. If my transmission goes out and I pull into a freaking transmission shop and a white KKK racist with thunderbolts tattooed all over his body sits down, is able to talk to me in a way to where I actually can relate to his situation, I know I have more in common with an African person on the continent than I got with this white person. But if all I do is try to focus on our differences, well, nothing's going to get done. I'm still going to have a broken transmission and he's still going to roll hating black people. That's okay. But when it comes to our own people, we need to start paying more attention to the similarities than the differences. There's a reason why people go to the continent and have a negative experience, because those people are only focused on negativity. And let me tell you something, their negative mindset is not something that is exclusive to the continent. They have that mindset every single place they go, unless they standing up next to some good crackers and they right where they want to be. So we need to do a reset of our mentality. We need to do an economic reset on even on our spending habits. Everything. We just need to reset because we are basically going downhill fast. And unless we change something, we're not going to survive the next 100 years. And somebody even put 70 to 80 years. And you all know it just like I do. Now, are you going to put your survival over your opinion? Or are you going to continue to say, me having an opinion is worth destroying everything? Oh, I'm going to burn down the whole house just because the hot water got turned off or something like that. Some stupid, insignificant reason. But we got to do a mental reset globally so that we can start moving forward. And there has to be everybody preaching that mindset. You're not doing us any favors if somebody says something self-destructive and you're like, oh, thank you for your transparency. Oh, I love your point of view, girl. That doesn't mean anything. Darn it. Go on the channels where they're preaching negativity. You got some of these same people in these channels on those channels talk about, yeah, girl, they like, yeah, these people stink and they don't wear deodorant and this and that and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yo, you got like musty family members. Yo, you in America living in project housing where the hot water don't even work. But no one gets on, YouTube and salutes that. If President Trump says Africa's a SHIT hole, then oh, he's horrible, he's terrible. But if a black person says the same thing, you're saluting them, you super chatting them. It's like you want negativity, but you only want it where you want it from. And you want it for people who are doing nothing positive to change the situation. So we all have to reset ourselves, and we are all guilty of it.
Hold on. Shout out to Susan Schreiber. Susan, you coming. Just go ahead and cash out me your deposit, Susan. You coming. You coming, Susan. Just go ahead and cash out me your deposit. We're going to have a great time. Just meet us in Atlanta. Susan, you can drive to Atlanta, park your car at my house, and we all go to the airport together. So everyone, again, hit that like button. Let's see here. Guys, we're going to open up the phone lines here in about 17 minutes. Again, we're going to open up the phone lines here in 17 minutes. So, Brandon, when you say it's over for us if we don't get our act together within 100 years, it's over for us. How does that look like?
Basically, I think that we need to start nurturing a positive mindset. I do a lot of like motivational stuff on my channel, and I'm learning, that if you have a positive mindset, a lot of positive things will start happening to you, right? What I hear is a lot of people throughout our diaspora, they talk about, oh, this sucks. Oh, but the people are nice. Well, focus on that. Focus on the good things, because there's a saying by Albert Einstein, beware of negative people because they have a problem for every solution. We have to get out of this constantly negative way of thinking. That is something that is like a residual effect of slavery, right? Where you're constantly stuck in a negative headspace. You live and dwell in fear. And so when you're fearful, all you can do is cast fear and doubt upon anything. And the first reset has to be mental. I am a Pan-Africanist person, whether you agree with that or not, who cares? I don't. But one thing I will say, Marcus Garvey had a great idea of going back to Africa. Now, due to the time he lived in, getting to Africa was much more difficult than it is now. He had to transport materials and everything else over there to build what he wanted. We live in the perfect time to execute Marcus Garvey's plan, but we don't even got to buy steamships and transport materials. All we got to do is transport our body and our mindset, right? I do a lot of talking with Nak Meezy. He does 50 Deep. He has his own web channel, YouTube channel. He talks a lot about negative experiences in West Africa. I said, bro, if West Africa is the only place you've been, well, why don't you come over to East Africa? Because the stuff you experience that you don't know.
And let me interject real quick, Brandon. Which country specifically in West Africa? Because I'm tired. This is what I'm tired of. This is what I'm tired of. People go to one country in Africa
and judge the whole continent.
And the whole, and they stereotype the entire continent. In fact, me and Kai, that hurt. Me and Kai, we actually did a show on that this morning. Like, people go to one country, they go to Ghana. It's usually Ghana, so that's what's trending. They go to Ghana, they have a bad experience, then all of a sudden, all of Africa is just terrible. Then a guy like me who's been in 16, 17 countries, I'm like, you need to go to as many countries as possible. And then figure out what works for you, because for some people they might be a fit in Ghana, but just because Ghana might be a fit for them doesn't necessarily mean it's a fit for you. And for some people don't understand that.
Dinus, if they go to Thailand, they'll talk about Thailand. Oh, Thailand, I like it or I hate it. They don't say I hate Thailand. They don't say when they go to Thailand and have a bad experience.
They don't say I hate Asia.
They don't say I hate Asia and Asia's terrible and Asia. They say Thailand. If they go to London and they have a bad experience, they say, man, the UK sucks. They don't say Europe sucks. Only when they go to Africa, people don't understand. You're in a third world country. I'm not talking about Africa. I'm talking about specifically Ghana or whatever. Third world country. You're expecting to have a first world experience in a third world country. That is not a problem with the place you're going. It is a problem with your ignorant mindset, because you're going to a Toyota dealership wondering why they don't have General Motors parts. You're going to IHOP wondering why the hamburgers suck. It's a pancake place, bro. You want a hamburger, go to a hamburger place. But that goes with our entitled attitude. We expect to get off the plane and people to be throwing palm branches at our feet and all this crap. And when it doesn't turn out to be that, I hate this place. I'm ready to go back to the white man. I'm ready to go back to my $100,000 mansion. This is literally what somebody said. My $100,000 mansion in the streets of Georgia, because it's so much better. It's like, look, bro, go explore. Don't judge a whole continent by one place. Everything people say they experience, I've never experienced a lot of that stuff. It is probably just based on where I go. Every country is going to fit different. Different countries are going to have to be a different fit for different people. But that's what we have to stop doing. We have to stop generalizing everything. And that's what our people do. We operate based on a spirit and a mindset of generalization while expecting people to recognize us for our unique individual characteristics. Why should people give you what you refuse to give everybody else? You get back what you put out. Start talking down on Africa, you're going to get lumped in with the ignorant people who do that. And then we're not going to care about you individually. Give us an individual experience. Give us some positivity. And that's what's going to be returned to you. Brandon, can you not use the word third world? These are developing. They're not developing countries. Kenya is a developing country. Ghana and Gambia are developing countries. There's a list and a rating for all countries. There's third world, there's second, and there's third world, and there's developing. There are developing countries. I'm going to use the English that is accurate to the situation. The reason why we have what we have is all this emotional generalizing, because don't say this word. You hurting my feelings, and I don't like when you talk like that. Look, man, in 100 years, it won't matter which way they talking about it, because you're not going to be around to even hear the words. So I'm going to talk in political language. Ghana and the Gambia are third world countries. Kenya is a developing country. South Africa is a developing country. Rwanda is a developing country. Uganda is a developing country. Go to a developing country, you will have a developing country experience. Do not go to a third world country wondering why you're having a third world experience. And then if you do, don't get on the internet and start spewing that negativity, because we can keep it secret when Uncle Ray is molesting somebody, but we can't keep it secret or keep it on the low when it's just not conducive to our progress to talk about something. Like, just shut up sometimes. Learn to do like the Godfather. Keep your mouth shut, man. Just loose lip sink ships. But y'all would rather see the ship sink to get a couple of views on Facebook, on YouTube. And what I'm noticing is the channels that are spewing the negativity, they are the fastest growing channels on YouTube. The channels that spew the most negativity are the fastest channels on YouTube. And if I held Phil Scott accountable for that, I'm going to hold every channel that's doing that accountable for that. And it's no secret that all these people going to Ghana and at first their channel was positive, but it wasn't getting enough views, so maybe they weren't getting enough donations. So then they turned negative, and now all of a sudden they're getting more views and they're getting more donations. That is only possible because the people are us, you, me, the people sending these people money. There's something in us that craves self-destruction. So the white man did a good job on us, and it's playing out over YouTube just like it plays out in our communities. Don't talk about the gangbanger shooting somebody in your neighborhood. Don't talk about the woman with 50 kids and no kid's father, because you're doing the same thing on the internet every single day. You're practicing self-destruction and trying to justify by talking about, yeah, you got to speak truth to power. Well, guess what? There's a lot of truth is relative. There's positive truth and there's negative truth. Why are we getting all the negative truth and none of the positive truth? That's our people. We eat the negative and then wonder why negative things happen. The universe has given us exactly what we want. Exactly what we want. And then we want to complain about the white man. You asking for it. And that's why you're getting it. That's why you don't see me crying and complaining about people dying and stuff. Why not? The white man is just destroying you, helping you do what you gonna do to yourself, what you want to do to yourself anyway. But you hate it when he do it. No. We want to kill ourselves. I don't know about you, but I want to be around. I want my generations to be around for the future. How do people look at their kids and then see the kids and want a future for them, then jump on, the internet and start working every day to tear down the infrastructure of, that we're trying to put together for our people? It doesn't make sense. So we're going to have to do a global reset, right? We're going to have to do a global reset. It starts with you. Don't worry about R. Kelly. Don't worry about Phil. Don't worry about nobody. It starts with you, because those people cannot exist if you did not support them. They could not exist if you did not support them. The same people supporting that negativity are the same people talk about, yeah, I'm voting for Joe Biden. Well, yeah, he's corrupt. He's destroying everything, but that's what you like. You like that. You're a kamikaze pilot. Let's crash the plane and just kill ourselves and kill everybody else too. But the only problem is when you kill yourself, nobody else is going to die. You are just going to be a blip on the radar of history. Everybody's going to say those black people were really good at sports, but they just couldn't get past the self-destructive behavior, the self-destructive talk, the genocidal behavior. This is why abortion clinics and everything else line your communities, because they have made you basically feel a sense of honor for destroying yourself. And you get on here, well, I care about people getting scammed. And those people, they scam these people over in that place. Well, you get scammed every time you walk into a car dealership in America. You paying a 24% interest rate on a car that's 10, 20 years old. But all of a sudden, you suddenly care about people getting scammed. Go stand in front of the local auto dealership. Go stand in front of the pawn shop and talk to your people about how they're getting scammed every day in America, since you care so much about your people getting scammed. Black people fall for every trick in the book. You run around selling Primerica life insurance, knowing good and damn well it's a scam on both ends, but you don't.
Hey, no, it's not. No, it's not. No,
okay, sorry. Okay, it's not. But guess what? Look, whatever. But this is the thing. You're over here. Everything a white person sells you and tells you, yo, this is good, go sell this to your people. You do it. But then whenever a black person do it, you approach it from the very beginning right? Yes, Susan Tribe, you're right. Payday loans. You approach it from the very beginning, like, look, let's just wait to find something negative to say about this. Not positive, negative. You know, you got to reset yourself. You got to start living in a way that's conducive to your survival, period.
Hey, you want to address the super chat? Where do you see Africa by 2050 when the population is projected to be double? Thank you for the super chats, everyone. Pan-African, everybody, thank you for the super chats. Go ahead, Brandon.
If it doubles, that means we're not doing our job. It should be tripling because we should all be over there too. And Africa will be just fine if we do, what we're supposed to do. I can't worry about where I see Africa. I have to worry about where I see the diaspora because that's what I'm a part of. Where do you see America if you still here by 2050? Where do you see yourself? We got to stop looking at, what's going to happen with the whole continent of Africa? Do you even know what's going to happen with your family by 2050? Do you know what's going to happen with your family in 3 months if somebody catches a terminal illness? These are the things we have to worry about so we can secure ourselves for the future. Stop overreaching. Stop trying to focus on stuff far off. You might not even survive the decade looking at the way Antifa and everything else is destroying your community. And let's go vote for the guy who's basically praising that. You can't even. I had a dojo get burnt to the ground by these thugs. But I have to go look on TV and watch my people praise these people. Black businesses getting destroyed and black people praising the people who destroying it. Does that make sense?
No.
Black businesses getting destroyed because they only did it in your community. Black businesses getting destroyed and black people praising the white people who did it. Please tell me what's going on with that. And black people praising.
Don, you gotta turn off the playback, Don.
Please tell me.
Don, you gotta turn off the playback.
Sorry about that. Okay, I did. Sorry about that. Is it clear now?
I mean, we see your green screen. I already seen your face though. You trying to hide yourself. Yeah, we already saw you, Don.
We already saw you.
Oh, did
we saw your wood cabinets and everything. We saw the wood cabinets and everything, Don. We already saw it.
Yeah, I don't want to be
you got to plot it up and look real nice.
Well, no, it's natural. I need to wash it. So anyway, how are you guys doing? Hi, Brandon. Hi, Prince Dinah Samir. Hey, I want to call in because, all right, so the first thing, I have quite a few things I want to talk about. So hopefully this will be interesting. The title of the show is A Global Reset. So I want to address
Black Global Reset.
A Black Global Reset. And I 100% agree with this. So I do want to address this to Brandon. I feel as though, so just so you know, I'm a Black American. If you want to call it ADOS or whatever, I'm a Black American. I'm not Caribbean or anything like that. So I'm asking you, Brandon, I hear a lot of people beat up on African Americans, right? And the culture. You talked about a lot of things about being scammed, but what type of global reset do you think Africans on the continent need to have, or in the Caribbean, or in South America? Because it's real easy to kind of pick on American Blacks, and we have our problems. Believe me, I can list them all day long. But I think that we also have to be honest. So like if there's a Black global reset, what does that global reset look like for everyone else, right? List the things that they also need to work on that might not be progressive, that will move the Black race forward.
Okay, let me ask you this. Africans are going to double their population by 2050. Every African country you go to, you have thousands of Black Americans who go there and talk about what a great experience they're having. Africans are very hospitable. They actually have like a very like they really look up to African Americans, which is crazy. They'll let you come in their house.
It is not crazy. I have to stop you there. I will tell you, like, I don't hear any self-pride in what we have accomplished as Black Americans. We are not perfect, but it's this constant, why would they look up to us? Are you joking? As slaves, we literally were fighting for other people around the country. We have done a lot. Have we slid backwards? Oh, absolutely. I think probably my parents' generation dropped the ball, and we've erased it, and we don't have the wealth that people had, right after the Civil War. So I know that we're in a bad spot, but there's still some pride in what we've contributed to the world.
So tell me, you can give me 3 things Black people have contributed to the world, and you tell me in the past 20 years, give me 3 things Black people have contributed to the world.
In the past 3 years, 20 years. So let me ask you something. I have to say this, and I don't know if it's because you're younger, so I am skewing probably on the older side. I'm sure I'm older than you, probably at least 15 years or so older than you. But my history didn't start 20 years ago. 20 years ago, I was a grown adult. So I'm talking about Black Americans as a whole. I'm not denying. See, my thing is that I do believe that we have to be positive because, in general, I am a very optimistic person. I have been to Africa, so I'm not one of those Black people that have never been to Africa. I've been to Africa specifically. I've been to Kenya, right? And so there were some things that I was disappointed. Did I think there were things that were absolutely beautiful? But I will tell you, I was over there like 2 weeks, and it broke my heart that Black people were on the bottom. It was the British, the Indians, and then Black people.
Okay.
I was not exposed to that. So to me, it was like I thought I was coming to the motherland and I was expecting Black people to be in control. That's what I was looking for. And so I will tell you, and I have several Nigerian friends. We were just talking about this the other day. And so I talked to her and I said, I believe that we've got to work as a cooperative, right? Because us infighting doesn't work. But one thing I do have is I have pride in what we've accomplished in America. And right now we're in a very bad place. We are in a bad place. But I would
Hold on,
also
guys. Hold on.
Go ahead, Brandon.
One point at a time. One point at a time.
Okay, not a problem.
I'm
Go
going to
ahead.
be able to respond to everything you're saying. Now, let me ask you a question. You're talking about I need to be proud of what the Black Americans are doing. And then you talked about how heartbroken how you were in Kenya, right?
Yes.
In Kenya, a Black person owns every dairy product you consume. That's a Black person. In Kenya, Black people own grocery stores, pretty much all of them, and they own the product.
Oh
most of the products sold in those stores.
All right,
Kenya,
so maybe.
Wait, hold on. Wait, let me finish.
Go
In
ahead.
Kenya, the number one beer, Tuskers.
You ain't gotta yell at him, Brandon. You ain't gotta yell at him.
I'm not trying to yell at him. In Kenya, maybe I need to turn the volume down on this, but in Kenya, the number one beer drink, Tuskers, is owned by a Black person. Now, you tell me, since you're talking about Africa broke your heart, you are heartbroken about Africa where Black people own a bunch of stuff. You just don't know about it because ain't nobody putting it right in front of your face. But you want us to show pride in America where Black people don't own nothing that is produced in this country on a massive scale. So tell me, you want a pat on the back for not owning nothing, but basically your heart is broken in a country where people who are Black own all this stuff. The president is Black, every politician is Black, but there's other races that are making a profit, primarily because we never wanted to go there and do it, right? So you tell me, where do we deserve the pat on the back? Because I see African countries that have more things going on with people of our color and our race than anything in America, but Black Americans want a pat on the back because we fought for everybody else to whatever. Africans own a lot. So why are you heartbroken for there, but not heartbroken for here?
So no. So let's be very clear. I think that I'm heartbroken. I'm heartbroken no matter where I go. If it's Jamaica, I'm heartbroken because the Chinese are buying up Jamaica. I'm heartbroken in America because I feel as though we have gone backwards and we have not made the progress that we should have made for a variety of reasons. I was heartbroken in Africa because the scramble for Africa that happened with the Europeans is happening with India, the Lebanese, and with the Chinese. So I saw your face. It's the truth. If you don't believe that the investment in Africa, and so when I was in Kenya, absolutely. And even when you go to Ghana, a lot of places, the Lebanese, a lot of those, the middle class that own a lot of businesses, a lot of those are owned by foreigners. And a lot of times the Africans are kind of like, they may own something, but they're farming out all of the industrialization or the building or the coming out of the mines. All of that stuff is actually farmed out. So when I'm saying, are there some Black businesses? My expectation, and I'm just telling you as a very young person going to Africa, I was just expecting that it truly was going to be a Black run, not a lot of puppet leaders and a lot of leaders that have sold out. So I think that again, you go ahead.
You thought it was going to be a fantasy, but the reality.
No, here's the thing, but the reality is what I'm saying. The reality when you hit the ground. So what I'm saying to you is that is Africa beautiful? See, I'm not arguing with you with that. What I'm saying is that you didn't answer my very first question. The title of the show is a black, and I cleared it. So I said, let me make sure. What was the title, Prince Dinus Amir? And he said, a black global reset. My question to you is, you don't have pride in where you come from, and that's okay if your self-esteem is a little low. I ask you, if it's a black global reset, is this just an African American reset, or is this, if it's a global black reset? Tell me. Get off of the black Americans who ain't did anything, blah blah blah. Tell me, what does that black global reset look like for Africans on the continent? Maybe in Europe, maybe in Jamaica, the Caribbean, in Canada, right? In South America. Tell me that, because it's because we need to change the title of the show. Would you not agree? You need to be. Go ahead.
If you go to the UK, you go walk through London Airport. 99% of the people in that airport aren't even white. They're Indian or African. I just was there.
I've been there also.
All over,
answering the question. The world. And don't think that they're doing well. A lot of them are struggling, and they face a lot of racism.
Unless we have statistical proof of who owns what in all these different countries, we don't know. But the world is going global. The number one thing I'm telling you is, I talked about African Americans. I said African Americans need to have a reset of their mindset towards positivity. You got on here, and from the first word you mentioned out your mouth, it was all negativity. How heartbroken you was about
Not
this.
Negativity at all.
Wait a minute. How heartbroken you were about this and this and that, and then you're attacking us. And that's just we love that victim mindset. So much so that if you tell us, hey, we need to lift up by the bootstraps, or we need to do this or do that, guess what? Oh, you attacking us. So if I go in the next room and tell my daughter, look, babe, you need to work hard on your homework because this part was unacceptable. Well, Dad, why you ain't telling me about the good stuff I'm doing? Look, there's a lot of good stuff you're doing, but you're going to have to show me the good stuff. You can't tell me what we're doing. What we're doing in America is nowhere near.
What was that analogy? That was a negative analogy. If you're going on getting on it, what are you talking about, Brandon? I literally have said to you, I ask a very simple question and you won't answer. Because what you're saying is that this is a one-sided thing where African Americans need a mindset shift.
You didn't even let get to nothing else before you start telling me.
Okay, go ahead. It was just a really bad analogy, a horrible analogy with the daughter and the thing. Yeah, that didn't make sense. But go ahead.
Look, here's the thing. You talk about black people and what we need to do, especially black Americans. You got 100 people talking about, oh, don't talk about us. Look, your communities are dying. Your children are being aborted. All these things. If you want to get a pat on the back over what you're not even doing, that's fine.
Brandon, you've got to be a little bit more honest. I literally said we have a lot of issues and we've gone backwards. I was very clear. I have no rose-colored.
But you never told me the positive things you want a pat on the back for.
No. What I didn't say I wanted a pat on the back. I said that there should be some pride in where you. If I don't even know if you're a Black American, whatever you are, but as a Black American, I absolutely am proud to be a Black American.
What do you want?
No, because that's not history. 20 years is a snippet, and starting from the 80s, you're talking about the fight on the war on drugs and all the different things that have happened. The Black community, absolutely, the family has been destroyed. But again, it's Brandon, it's ignorant to say 20 years and you got to basically run it down. I'm talking about our history. Go ahead.
What do the Black people say when Trump say "Make America Great Again"? When has America ever been great?
You're missing a point. Listen, Brandon. Brandon, what you're doing is you're being a one-trick pony. You can't speak globally. I ask you a very simple question because I can talk to you about.
Let's get some order here.
I'm sorry.
All right, Don. Go ahead, Brandon. Let Don go. Don't interrupt.
So I'm just saying is that, and the reason why I brought that up, and I did not want it, but I really want people to expand. All of us are struggling. Right. When I talk to my African friends, a lot of them, they want to go back to Africa and they're like frustrated because of their governments and what it takes to make it and the connections and the bribery and the different things. So a lot of people, we talk about returning to Africa, right? In England and all these different places, Black people around the globe are not being treated great. So even though I'll just use Jamaica because it's a really easy example. They're getting eaten up by the Chinese. Their infrastructure was on, so it may be a Black face on it. But when it comes to our Black people around the globe doing well, on the surface, it may look like some things, but when you're talking about what we own, start going to places and looking at what do we really own. We talk about all these Chinese leases. I'm saying we have to be honest about when we talk about Black people changing mindsets globally. Remember, that's the title of the show. We've got to look at every aspect. So once you finish jumping on Black people saying, hey, in America, they need to shift in how they think and the positivity, I'm okay with that. But I also expect for you to move on and go, also the African, from the continent that are here, what do they need to shift in their thinking?
Well,
right?
you tell me what they need to shift in their thinking. Then I asked you what. Okay, I said what.
No.
For one, what do you want me to say about being? You said I need to have pride in being an African American.
Oh, absolutely. I'm very proud to be a Black American.
So you tell me what I want to be what I need to be proud of, right? And then you tell me what the African needs to work on, because all I see is somebody talking about a country that they feel sorry for, where the Black people are.
No. I felt sorry for Kenya. I felt it was more of a sadness of my expectation was that this was going to be a country where Black people were thriving. I saw so much poverty when I was in Nairobi, and we went out to the bush and we went on safaris, and I went to Mombasa. I went all over Kenya. So it wasn't just one place. And the extensive poverty, the letdown of the leaders of how it doesn't trickle down, how they let foreigners come in and they run a lot of the businesses. And that's in a lot of African countries. And I have African friends that say the exact same thing, that a lot of. I'm sorry. I'm just giving you my point of view, Brandon. You don't have to agree with it. But what I'm saying from my experience from people, Black Americans that have gone over there to do business, Africans that are from there, born in Nigeria, most of my experience is with Nigerians. But to me, they have said these are some of the struggles that we deal with, and part of the reason why our family left. Right? Some of the frustration. And another thing that I find that a lot of Africans from the continent, a lot of times they're putting Africa down. I don't want to go back there. I don't want to deal with the power outages and the lack of infrastructure and the corruption and the difficulty of getting business done. Do I think those things you're able to overcome them? Absolutely. But there has to be an honest conversation. So when I say, what do Africans that are not on the continent or on the continent and Caribbean, everybody needs to, I agree with the title. Black people as a whole need to figure out what the hell we're doing, because I think earlier it was said, we are going to be lost. And I think it's all over. I think that in Africa, it's another scramble. I don't know if you've seen that. The Indians, the Chinese, everybody's, you don't think they're fighting over the resources and buying stuff up and using their money and corrupting leaders? There's another scramble for Africa, but I see you shake your head. You
talk a long time. Wait, hold on. You talked a long time.
I did. I'm going to be quiet. I'll let you. I'm sorry.
Let me tell you this, Don. What I see in Africa is this. If you go to Africa and you want to invest in Africa, it doesn't matter what your color is. They are willing to play ball with you.
It's either, Brandon, as Fitzgerald Stevens says, either you have the money or you don't.
Either you have the money or you don't. So me, and this is to all the people talking about me in the comments. When I went to Africa and saw what you saw, I stood up and did something about it. I created jobs. I started businesses in Kenya. See, you went to Kenya and wanted to complain about how brokenhearted you were. Me, I went to Kenya. I did what positive and successful people do. I looked around for the circumstances that I wanted. I didn't see them, so I created them. That's the global reset. As an African American, you are in a unique position. You have access to the capital to make things happen. You go to work, you go to your job, you get your money, and you give it to the white man. Then you look across the water and say, my heart breaks into Africa because the poverty and all this stuff.
I have a question for you about the Africans.
Go ahead. You talked. Hold on.
You're right.
Now, there's a difference between me and you. I see something I don't like, I work to fix it. You see something you don't like, you come back and tell people about it. I used to work as a manager in a grocery store. There was a statistic. They said of all customers, if someone has a person is 8 times more likely to tell you about a negative experience that they had than they are to tell you about a positive experience they had. That's across the board human nature. You went to Africa, you preach of the negative aspect of your experience, right? Me, I went to Africa. Go to my channel. I was just in Africa. I went there. I gave people tips on starting, and Adonis, you probably don't watch my channel, but I not only gave people several tips on starting businesses in Africa, I've produced whole videos about that. I show people the businesses I do in Africa. I show people great places to shop and get discounts in Africa. I show Black-owned, beautiful supermarkets and all types of stuff in Africa. There's all those negative things. If your heart's broken for Africa, go walk down Skid Row in LA with all your people. Hold on. Your people are sleeping outside in tents. And you're telling me that I'm supposed to give a bunch of rich Black people in America a pat on the back for letting our own people be sleeping on the sidewalk, doing all types of horrible stuff. But Brandon, you need to give us credit for what we've been doing. No, because you see what's wrong with your community and nothing happens there. But then you go look at somebody else and say, I sure feel sorry for them. I don't care about what you saw. I don't care about how you felt. I care about what you did to fix the situation. And you did nothing. So you have nothing to say to me about anything at all. Because I'm working to pay. Give me some money so I can start you a business over in Africa and you can employ some Africans if you feel so bad about the level of poverty in Africa. If you dedicate $500 to the continent a month, you can feed 5 families by providing a job. Until you do that, go back to Africa. Do that. Then come tell me how sorry you felt, because you didn't feel sorry enough. You don't care enough about the Indians running stuff because the Indians are invested more in Africa than you are, and you claim that that's your motherland. Just like the Indian and the Chinese is invested more in your neighborhood than you're invested. I don't care about that. Money talks, BS walks. Feelings ain't getting you nowhere. They put the money in. You put your money in physical cars, clothes, whatever you want to do, buying these
Brandon, you're making some assumptions. So what you're doing now is you're making assumptions, and that's not a very smart way to have a conversation.
Well, we all do it.
No, because I think you need to ask. So right now, my passion, have I invested in Africa? I have not. But to say that I've done nothing, again, not only do I not watch your show, but I'm actually an educational advocate in Atlanta, really well known, and I do put my money where my mouth is in trying to make sure.
Education.
Oh, no.
We don't need education. We need some money. We need some money.
Oh, exactly. About accessing money.
Black people.
Hold on, Brandon. Let her talk, Brandon. Let her talk. Go ahead, Don.
So I hear you. And you're rolling your eyes, but again, that's not very mature. It's okay for you to disagree with me. What I'm saying is that when you start making assumptions about where I put my money and my time, because it's not where you put it, it's a false negative. I mean, you're literally lying. You're trying to smear my name. I'm not smearing you. What I'm saying, because I have put my money and my energy and my talent where I believe it needs to be.
But you said you feel sorry for Africa. So why don't you put money where
No, because here's the thing. I'm a grown woman and I can put my money where I want and where I'm interested. This topic is about the mindset and the reset. So my question that you have not answered because you're unable to, because I guess that would be negative. So I'm good, Princess Dinah Samir, because let's be clear, he never answered the question. Again, only thing he can do is talk about and make assumptions and lie about where I'm putting my energy and money instead of addressing. We've addressed Black Americans. No, that's not true. You didn't answer the question. The title of the show is there needs to be a Black global reset. So if I've got to go and do all of this in Africa, what's happening with Africans that are not on the continent are there with all this money in these stores? Why are they not invested? So there has to be another reset because something's happening where they need Brandon to come over and show them how to run a restaurant, or they need to show them how to run something. So you're not answering what mindset needs to shift there. It's really easy to pick on, and that's really what you do. You say you're not negative, but literally you have been nothing but negative against Black Americans, but you reserve and you don't say anything. And if you don't play like this video, if you don't think that's negative, if you don't think you literally lied and told me you put your money in, what did you say, cars or something? And I was like, you just don't know me and I don't expect you to, but you just don't make assumptions. We stick on topic, right? And you didn't answer the question. So it was great talking. I don't know if you have any more questions for me, Prince Dinah Samir. I think the topic is good. Brandon is not addressing it because at the end of the day, we have to understand Black Americans, even if we change our mindset, we all need to. So when we look around the globe, What are the mindsets that need to be changed? What things need to be changed? That's what I thought this topic was about. Not about not a bashing on African Americans.
This work. Dinus, can I ask you a question? Dinus?
I got to answer. Go ahead.
If you open a store in Africa,
right,
will you have a problem finding people to work for you?
I'll have people lying down the street.
Africans have no problem taking advantage of an opportunity when it's presented to them. That's why you have a lot of Africans. People are building stuff out of like trash and it's revolutionizing the world. Africans do a lot with having nothing. So I believe Africans have the entrepreneurial mindset. They start businesses, they sell bananas on the side of the curb and everything else. So what I say is Africa, all they need is for their rich people to actually provide, opportunities for the people who are poor.
Guess what, Brandon? You just started answering the question. Thank you. Okay, we can actually end it. Kamal Walker just said, can we reset this convo? You just answered the question. I asked because what we got to do is get real. We all ain't perfect and we all got issues and we got to be honest about everybody's part and why the Black people are struggling around the country. I'm good because at least you finally just said other people besides African Americans need to step up and do more.
You got emotional about me talking about
No, it's not about getting emotional. I just stated a fact. No. I asked a very specific question. You couldn't answer it and you finally didn't even realize you answered it and you answered it.
It was emotional. I just told you Africans take advantage of opportunities when they are presented.
No. What you said was, and this goes to the topic. The topic is what is the Black global reset, right? Mind shift. And you just said the elite Africans in Africa need to do better when it comes to trickle down and making sure they're providing opportunities and not hoarding the wealth and selling Africans out, that average African out.
So now that we're talking about
it's not negative.
What are we going to do about what's going on with us? So now that you succeeded in getting us off of African Americans back, now we've addressed that. African leaders need to.
That's the only thing. That's the only thing in Africa they need to do. But go ahead.
That's one thing that needs to happen. African rich leaders and politicians need to invest into the people who are, who are poor. Now that we've settled that, right? Now, how is that going to fix the situation in your community?
Say that again. I was reading. I was reading his comment. I'm sorry.
How is you? Let me tell you. How is you investing in the education of Atlanta, the children in Atlanta? How is that going to fix our situation in the United States?
So a lot of times it's more local because I think that the problem of kind of at the root cause is basically writing, reading, having a basic understanding, being able to take advantage of opportunities. And I'm not a teacher or anything, but I've just been very active, just actually just watching the children that my kids have grown up and looking at the difference between having a good parent and when I shouldn't even say good parent, having a parent that's just better educated and understanding about reading and again, entrepreneurship. Husband, all of those people are entrepreneurs. I believe in being an entrepreneur. I come from a family of entrepreneurs, but a lot of people don't have that. So a lot of times around education, I'm talking about exposure. I'm talking about instead of graduating a lot of Black kids into the underbelly of America, giving them more options. And part of having options is critical thinking, being able to read and basically communicate. I will give it to you. Somebody helped you or taught you how to be able to communicate how you feel, right? I may not always agree with it. You asked me the question about how
you're long-winded. You're long-winded.
Let her finish.
Go ahead, Brandon.
Listen, you should be able to articulate what's needed. She asked about Africa. I answered that in 2 sentences. What needs to be done? Now I'm supposed to sit through a 30-minute answer. Here's the reality. Listen.
Let's do this so we could move on. Don, go ahead and respond and close, and then we'll move on. So we don't.
No, we can. No, seriously. When he did that, I was really honest when I said that. That's all I wanted. I just wanted a broader, more comprehensive conversation when it came to the global reset. That's what I want to hear, all parts. I don't mind critiques of Black Americans, but I want to make sure we have critiques of what's happening on every side. And we finally got to it. I don't know. It feels like 20 minutes later. So I'm good. I don't know if you want me to stay on. but I'm good. I don't really have anything else to say.
Brandon,
there's something else.
Brandon, I got to bring somebody else on, Brandon.
But just let me just say this while she's here. I don't want to think I'm talking about her back. Don,
Brandon,
listen, you're doing what Democrats do. You're trying to sell us tried and failed action as if it's something new. You have entire universities where 99.9% of the people are Black and educated. The only thing the American education system does in this country is produce Black people who think they better than other Black people. And you want me to think that just because you're doing it, suddenly at the end of the day, the result is going to be different. We got
that. You've never heard me say that before. Because I didn't say that. I said critical thinking. I told you I come from a family of entrepreneurs. So I'm telling you, even in that I don't believe the way to wealth or to self-sufficiency is going and working. I'm literally telling you that's not my background.
There's a lie in the movie.
Okay, guys,
it's not what
James Wilson must be your boyfriend.
But I'm Dinus. There's a line in the movie that says it's not what you believe, it's what you can prove. And what I can prove is that education in America of Black people in mass has not yielded no positive results for our people in America. We got doctors, lawyers, PhDs. We got all that. We got universities dedicated to educating us. That is not going to do nothing for you. So, okay, education. Just like when I criticize Africans on African Tigers channel, which Dinus, I do that all the time. I criticize African people. I was criticizing the other day on your channel, and they were going off on me. I don't let anyone off the hook. But it's okay for you to try to act like Brandon only wants to beat up on African Americans.
We got to take a commercial break, Brandon. Commercial break. Everybody, commercial break. We want to let Melissa on Don. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you. Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye. All right, guys, commercial break. Guys, make sure you go to searchforahuru.com. Searchforahuru.com, everybody. Again, make sure you go to searchforahuru.com to book your travel. Again, let me pull the site up real quick for everybody. Searchforahuru.com. Click on travel. And you're going to click on the image right here. And then you're going to book all of your travel, everyone. Book all your travel right here. Searchforahuru.com. Travel. Go and book your travel. Make sure you go to dynastybeer.com. And tour April 21st through the 30th. Shout out to Fabian. Fabian is going to be joining us in Sierra Leone, April 21st to the 30th. And also Susan. And I'm expecting that deposit from Susan any minute now via Cash App from Susan. Susan, thank you so much for joining us. To our trip on Sierra Leone. We're going to have an awesome time, everyone. Sierra Leone, April 21st to the 30th, y'all. Come and join us. All right, Miss Melissa, go ahead.
Yes. So first, I kind of want to address something that Dawn said, and I don't necessarily disagree with her. If you've never been to what we call in the United States a third world country, you may go to another country and feel some type of, go to an African country and feel some type of way. My first time traveling outside the United States was to Panama. So I already dealt with the power outages, all kinds of other issues that you would have in an area that may not have the infrastructure to handle a lot of people, right? So when I finally did go to West Africa, it wasn't a big deal for me because I'd already experienced it in Central America. I experienced it in the Caribbean when I went to Haiti, and I still enjoyed myself because I did not go there expecting to be in Miami or in Chicago, in New York. I particularly wanted a different experience. I want to know what it's like living there. Second, when we talk about investing in the African continent, you know, it's fine if you want to open a pizzeria or an ice cream shop, but we should be talking about like real investment, like investing in roads, investing in infrastructure, doing more than just, you know, maybe a mom and pop space. And I think that's where African Americans need to expand their thinking. And I can only speak about African Americans because that's what I am. So, right, I can't talk about Afro Latinos. I can't talk about folks in the UK or folks in South America. I can only talk about me. And I know that in America, we're not a country of people that talks about going to foreign countries unless it's Europe doing anything more. We're not encouraged to learn more than one language in school. I just transferred my daughter to a different school. She has to try to get 3 years of a second language in because it wasn't required here in Florida. She didn't have to so she has to like cram that in, right? We don't talk about being international. We don't talk about being global. Maybe if you have more money and you have access to that type of thinking, you are thinking about that. But for the average person, this is not something that we discuss at all. So this is all new territory for us. And it is time for a mind shift, because we have to be able to think about this. And honestly, with the way things look in the United States, I would not say that African Americans have not done anything. That's not true. We've developed lots of things. But we do have to think about, in a couple of years.
Can we list a few of them before we just throw that out there? Because we love throwing out random statements.
And this is not a random statement. Go on Google and look up African Americans who have invented things. We have done.
Talking about
if you look in your communities, you have people who have made a difference for people that you know, people that you may not even know, somebody who you may not even think have money. They have done something to help somebody get to somewhere that they need to be. So I don't like talking about like African Americans don't do anything. I'm a publisher. I publish a magazine on global African art. I did something. I'm not just talking about what we're doing here in the United States. I think about us as a family, and I get that conversation going across the world. You want to talk about somebody? Me. I did that. But that's what we need to say it again.
Can I ask you a question?
Oh, Brandon, I don't want you to ask me a question, but go ahead.
Oh, no one ever does. But I'm gonna tell you the reality. You said you talking about building roads and infrastructure in Africa, but in America, you talking about doing newspapers.
Yes.
Stop doing that. I want to know the correlation. Dinus, I want to know why in Africa we got to produce roads and infrastructure.
No, I didn't say Africans.
But in America, all we got to do is produce waste feeds.
No, don't do that. Because I didn't say Africans need to produce roads. I think that if we're talking about going to Africa, we need to talk about some real infrastructure. We need to go and talking about some real investment. I'm saying that it's fine to even have a magazine if you like. But if we want to talk about something that's going to actually make a difference and that actually gives us clout in these countries and helps us move, we need to do like what the Chinese are doing. So I was in Senegal 2 years ago. I missed my trip this year because of COVID. And every time I ride back and forth from the airport, and it just so happens that the last couple of years I've been able to go back twice a year. And it's like, dog, y'all roads are nicer than ours. Your roads are in better shape from that airport. That whole little like toll road deal that they got going on, you take it out if you're going to Pink Lake, if you're going out to the airport, the convention center. This is like a smooth ride. I'm coasting. But that's the type of investment that we should be doing. So who I think was the Spanish who did that road. So the Spanish can come in there and they can do some things that I can't do because they put in big money. No, so Americans, we need to think about if we do go there, we need to be thinking about real investments. Like,
I want everybody to
can you work with a government to do big construction projects?
I want everybody to think about something real fast. In order for the Chinese to build a road in Africa, no one here, some people can tell us how to make a road profitable, right? How do you profit from building a road? The only reason the Chinese can do those different projects like that, one, they usually make it a toll road. So to go on it, you have to pay. Also, these people are in sweatshop conditions in China, working for pennies on the dollar, so that the money that they bring in for their country in China can then be sent out to other places to build infrastructure and stuff like that for other countries, right? Now, you talk about mom and pops and stuff. Do you realize that the mom and pops are the ones that create the revenue to be able to generate projects in infrastructure, roads, etc.? That's how you create wealth. The person who owns McDonald's open up a fast food place, but then once he gets a couple billion, he can say, yo, I want to build like 5 roads and a freeway. So we got to get on the ground with things that directly result in money. The other infrastructure projects, those are going to come in the future, but you got to crawl before you can walk. Like I have Airbnbs, I have little kiosk stores, and those generate money. Now, if somebody comes with an initiative like, yo, we want to build a road and we taking up a donation. Based on those little businesses, I can say, look, I'll take the revenue from those businesses, push it over to where the road's going to get built. Now, if I don't have those businesses to do that, right, and I just go put my money into the road, how does building that road benefit me or with my money or anything. That's how business works. You making an investment based on ROI, return on investment, asking people to do what essentially are charity projects on the continent or anywhere is unrealistic. Spain didn't build the road for charity. China didn't either.
I never said they built the road for charity.
I'm just making a point because I understand that you understand what's going on, but the people in the audience, we talking for the audience right now. You have to make it make sense. And that's why I'm telling people, if you have passion about a place, go create a business where you can employ people. Those people pay taxes. The more tax revenue, the more money goes to infrastructure. That's the way it works in America. That's the way it works on every country on the planet. People work, they pay taxes. Tax revenue is put towards infrastructure. So what we can do is go create jobs there, or we can create jobs here. We can do any of that stuff. But how can we do that when we constantly politically vote in a way that reduces our ability to attain capital to do anything? So we got all the smoke and all that we're doing this, we're doing that, and what we gonna do with this? But as a whole, we operate in a self-destructive way where we keep on tripping over our own feet because we constantly vote politically in a way that handicaps us economically. So I'm not putting nobody down. All I'm saying is we do waste speeds in America. But when we go to Africa, it's about infrastructure. We need to do infrastructure in our own community, open some stores that employ people. Then we could talk about infrastructure and everything somewhere else. No more of this, oh, yo, I sell clothes online. And then why didn't this dude become a land tycoon in Africa? If you sell women's shoes and you Al Bundy, stick to Al Bundy stuff. Don't go sell women's shoes and then go to Africa like, yo, I'm about to become the biggest corporate magnet of oil in Nigeria. We need to stay in our lane. That's what I do, and that's what works. So everybody needs to do that. African countries, you guys need to stop voting for corrupt politicians. You need to realize that the politicians reflect the citizenry. I think that's a word. And they're only corrupt because you allow them to be corrupt and you keep supporting them. Africa does have issues. We kind of been beating up on Africa for the past couple of episodes. So I was talking about some diaspora and stuff. I know that makes us hurt and our feelings be getting mad, but I'm used to that because I'm a conservative Black person. So I know liberal people, they get hurt. But the thing is, we have to start holding ourselves accountable for what's going on with our people across the globe, because it's not, don't ask what the diaspora can do for me. Ask what I can do for the diaspora. And that's the problem with African Americans and Africans in the West. We always looking at, yo, what they gonna do for us? What they gonna do for us? You're the big boy. Put your big boy pants on and go make something happen. I can't feed my family. I can't ask what my family gonna do for me. I gotta freaking feed my family. I can't say, yeah, you know what you gonna do for me. And I look at the globe like that. We're the ones with access.
But let me ask something.
One second, guys. Hit that like button. We have almost 500 people watching. I'm gonna need you guys to hit the like button again. When you come to the chat room, please hit the like button. Just hit the like button. I mean, goodness. All right, go ahead, Melissa.
So one of the things that you mentioned earlier, I was talking to somebody who lives in Jamaica, and they were talking about there's a toll road in Jamaica, same story, right? Built by the Chinese. The Chinese said, oh, we'll build it for free. We'll just collect the money from the tolls. But because of the road was, and if you're Jamaican, you know what I'm talking about, mention it in the chat. Because of the way the road was constructed, it's too slick, it's dangerous, and it's expensive. So nobody's taking this road. But then guess what? That means the Chinese ain't making their money. So you know where the Chinese want to get their money from? So we should think, that's why I say that it's good for us who have the ability, who have the know-how, who can maybe get this money together or work with other businesses and corporations to think like this, because these are needs. But like you mentioned about that mom and pop store, so I went to a restaurant, was really happy, having a good time with my friends, and I had to go to the bathroom. And it wasn't a positive experience. And not only that,
the bathroom is unimportant.
But that's not the part I'm going to say. Right?
So why you bring it up?
I'm bothered about that, but what I am going to say.
Brandon, let her finish.
And my issue was not the way the bathrooms were. I work in the arts, so every time I go to a place, I go to really nice places. I don't have no problems like this.
Go to any gas station bathroom in America. It's atrocious.
Not having
Poop
that
on
was
the
the thing,
wall.
though. The conversation that we were having was, you know, here in the United States, you know, if there's an issue with the plumbing, and it may be something out in the street that somebody has to go unclog or something. You know, you see people, they go break up the rules and they go do that. And I had to ask the question. I said, you know, I brought toilet paper with me just in case. And I said, but is this stuff like going to clog up their toilets? Is this going to be a problem on their system? Those are little infrastructure things that I'm talking about. So you can have a mom and pop restaurant on the corner. That's cool. But those little things start to become issues where you're like, well, dog, you know, these are things that probably need to be addressed. If you're a major hotel, you probably have somebody off in Europe or the United States who, you know, can finance calling people in, breaking up, doing whatever they need to do. But if you're a little mom and pop spot and you may not have that type of cash on hand or may not have access to all of that, those things can be issues. And some of that is something like here, something that will be taken care of by the city, by the county.
Man, we talking about practice.
Brandon, let finish, Brandon.
We talking about practice. You talk, Dinus. We're talking about
Brandon, let her finish. I just want to hear her. Let her finish, Brandon. Go ahead, Melissa.
So that's what I'm always talking about as African Americans when we think about, and I'm coming back to the same thing, but I always think about, you know, not just thinking about thinking small, but thinking in large ways that we can help governments, help cities, help communities and people have what they need, as well as make money for ourselves. That's my point. I'm using bathrooms as an example, but we know that. Brandon.
Hey, Dinus, please. Leora McAllister posted a comment. Can you please put that comment on the bottom of the screen, please?
Oh, I got it. Let me find it. Hold on one second. And guys, hit the like button, please. We have almost 500 people watching. Hit the like button, guys. Here we go.
See if I can hit the like button.
Look, Brandon, smoke a blunt and chill. These are educated, world travel Black women. Jeez, calm down. Now, what I want you to do is go on one white channel and find me a place where they're talking about global reconditioning, a global move of all their people, and they let somebody come on to talk about the conditions of a bathroom in Kentucky, dude. We are the only people who do that. We are the only people.
You let those white women let them talk about the bathrooms to you. Since you don't want to hear me talk about them, I will let them tell you what they
are educated women.
I will let them tell you about what they say about your friend's bathrooms, what they say about Kenya. Since that bothering you and everybody else, let the white women tell you, and let's see how that works out.
Our globally travel,
what they say is far worse. And what we have to spend our time doing is either looking them up and down so that we don't get arrested in these foreign countries because we're about to go off on them. So let them tell you then. We'll let them tell you. Because they will say all of this themselves.
So our people, our globally traveled, well-educated people, right, are sitting up like, yo, Brandon, everything is cool, but yo, man, these bathrooms in Africa.
I didn't say that.
Listen, let me just finish. See, because that shows you our priorities, Dinus. And you be like, Brandon, let him finish. That's our priorities. We worried about, first we talk about we need to build roads. So then when you address that and put that in the pot of real reality, now it's about the bathrooms. I can go right here to food for less. The bathroom got doo-doo all over the walls. Ain't nobody cleaned it in 3 days. It's terrible. I go tell somebody, they might go in there and spray some whatever, and then I go to 5 minutes later. I used to work in a grocery store, Dinus. I know about bathrooms. I traveled across the country in a car.
Hey, Brandon. My when I did sales at Centos, we had a service where we clean bathrooms. I know, I didn't see some restrooms.
Right. Like, so guess what? But see, the problem with Africa is the bathrooms. The bathrooms are high standards. So now that speaks to this global pandemic of terrible bathrooms.
But that's not what was said.
But I'm telling you,
that was used.
Hold on. Listen, what were you saying? So I could better understand.
My conversation was not about, God, the bathrooms are so terrible, we need to go fix the bathrooms. But my overall conversation is that as a people, we should start thinking about global investment and start thinking about investing in, stop thinking small and thinking about bigger things. So that was just an example. But I'm not saying that, oh God, we need to go and fix the bathrooms. Hurry, let's run. That's not the kind of conversation. But that doesn't mean that there may not be opportunities. There's a woman who lives where I live who made her money putting in the Wi-Fi at the White House. I think that was how her and her husband became wealthy, right? They were hired, they got the bid, and they were able to do that. So being able to do large projects like that, being able to get into do them the way we see the Spanish go in and Spanish companies go in, the way we see folks go in to build the new airport and outside of Dakar, I forgot the name of the area, outside of Dakar, being able to do that, those are things that African-American companies should think about, or investors or business owners. Think about ways that you can go in and do larger projects that may be of need. It's not a matter of, oh my God, we must go fix the toilets.
Okay. Hey, Brandon, when I used to do sales for Centos, I said, guys, hit that like button. And shout out to the sister, the grandmother that bought my books. Thank you so much. And Brandon, thank you for buying my book as well, Brandon. I appreciate it, bro. So guys, make sure you go to dynastymirror.com and get Islam Based Your Time, a Children's Guide to Your Ancestors. But Brandon, I've seen some of the nastiest restrooms off of Wilmington, in Wilmington, off of Pacific Coast Highway. Is a spot, something like Bud's Burgers or something.
Every Mexican food place in California, Patricia, any of these places, the bathrooms are atrocious. But the point is, man, it's like, look, you do magazines, that's fine. That's but great. Excuse me if I am not moved. You
don't have to be moved because it's not a conversation about.
Can I finish my?
I'm very happy with what I do.
If you care about infrastructure in Africa, you should start doing a situation where you become a liaison between American companies and African countries and help them learn how to bid on contracts in Africa.
You're right.
Like you can do that. You have newspapers, so you can do it. So what I'm saying is this. Somebody keeps saying, what's your infrastructure? My biggest thing about Africa is I want to create jobs in Africa because Africa does not have a middle class. What we're going to understand is everybody's approaching Africa like, yo, we need to go over there and be wealthy. We need to go over there and be wealthy. You don't really got to do that. All you got to do when you go to Africa is create a middle class. The people who have enough money to go to a movie on Friday night and to pay their rent and have a bathroom that works inside their apartment. You create that class lifts people out of poverty. Why do you think in America they work so hard to destroy the middle class? Because if you can destroy the middle class and make it where it's just the super wealthy and the extremely poor, the rich continue to get richer because there's no middle class to take away from their profits, right? That's why America works, because of job creation. But if you know anything about America or economy, you'll learn that small businesses, middle class people who open small businesses create the most jobs in America. They actually create more jobs in America than corporations, especially since corporations are moving outside of the United States. So what Africa needs is the African middle class is in America. During slavery, they took all the best and brightest. They brought them over here. That was the African middle class. They're over here now. So when we go back to Africa, we need to revitalize the middle class, and that will create jobs. It will create more millionaires, and it will create a healthier, more sustainable economy. So when I'm telling you to go to Africa with the mindset of creating middle class jobs, I'll give you a prime example. My group that I have, we're looking for land in Africa, whatever. I'm not trying to do a shameless promotion, but I've actually hired two men, Wilfred and Mulati, and their job for me is to go around the coastline of Kenya and search for land for me and my group. Every day they go do that. I find land. I say, yo, bro, I need you guys to go check this out. Those guys are both teachers. A teacher in Kenya makes $300 a month. Every time they go view land and talk to the people for me and say, bro, this is a good idea. Bro, this sounds like a scam. 20 different people have rights to this land. They get $50 for their time and they get $20 for their gas. So two teachers who make $300 a year are able to make $60 a pop every time they go search for land or go check on the situation with land in my group. I also have a friend out there named Richard. He's American, Black American. He's living out in Kenya on the coast. He is the person who actually uses his car, right, to drive them there because they have cars too. But I actually have a deal worked out with him because he has a taxi service. He drives them there. So then he gets paid. So that's 3 jobs I create in Africa, 2 of which I pay them more money than they make being teachers in their country. So that's called infrastructure, because now those men have more economic power and mobility, and now they want to work with me to start. They're talking about, hey, don't pay us. What we would rather do is hold your money and help us start a hair salon where we also sell beauty products. Now they're going to set up that. I told them to send me the numbers. This is called infrastructure. We need to stop talking about grandiose ideas and start talking about basic things. That dream you had in America, just like Akon said, go to do whatever you're doing in America and do in Africa. That means don't go to Africa talking about we about to build an airport. Go to Africa and be like, yo, I want to start a beauty supply in America. I could do that in Africa for cheaper. And I need to hire 2 girls to work there for me too. So now you're creating, now what you're doing is you're helping other people to pull themselves up, which creates a middle class, which creates a healthy, stable economy. We got to learn about economics.
And you're absolutely right.
One second, guys.
There's 2 of us who do the same thing.
One second, guys. Make sure you hit that like button. We almost have 500 people watching, guys. Please hit the like button. What we'll do, Melissa, anything like to share in closing so we get the next caller on?
No, I just wanted to come on and share that, Brandon. I'm happy that we're in the same place. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Hey, Melissa, Shout out your magazine, Melissa. Shout out your magazine.
So we're sugarcanemag.com. We cover global Black art and culture. I have writers everywhere from Chicago to Lagos, Nigeria. Shout out to my Lagos family. I know that you are having a hard time. Please, my prayers are with you. Just know that I've pushed your deadline as far as you need to get through what you need to do. We cover Black art and culture. We update weekly, and we come out 4 times a year. You can purchase a subscription at our page. Go to sugarcanemag.com. Thank you, guys. Have a good evening.
No problem.
And Dinas, you know, the reality is once you start doing that, you don't have to worry about whether somebody likes you or nothing. Because when you start giving people the means to feed their family, they're going to find something to like about you. That's why we love the white man in America. Because as much as you hate him, he's still paying your bills. He's still putting food on your table. So you gotta like him. You gotta like him. So that's what we need to do in Africa. And that's what saves the relationship.
What you say? Sugarcane. Melissa, put your plug your mag in the chat room. Sugarcanemag.com. I think she said sugarcanemag.com. In fact, no, it's in the email. Go ahead, Willie.
Yeah, I want to go back to Melissa's point about bathrooms. So I think you guys missed the point on that. It's not just about the bathroom. It's a bigger picture. Black businesses in general, we don't value our customers enough compared to other groups.
That's not true. That's not true, really. Really, again, I'm Brandon as my witness. PCH, once it leaves Redondo, you get into Torrance, you get into Lomita, you get into San Pedro, you get into Wilmington. All right, I did sales. One of my services when I worked at Centos, we had a restroom cleaning service. You do not understand the nastiness of these non-Black owned restrooms in these communities. Absolutely disgusting. Look, in fact, what I used to do, because I did sales, so I was door to door. Like literally, I would spend as much time as possible, like in Hollywood and Beverly Hills. Because what I would do, I would go into if I had to use the bathroom, I would go into one of these nice hotels, like the Roosevelt or the Beverly Hilton, like one of these nice hotels, and use their bathroom because they kept them clean. They had to. But I'm telling you, nasty.
No, you guys are focusing too much on the bathroom. It's about customer service.
You just brought up the bathroom.
No, I know. I was trying to make you guys understand that it's a bigger picture issue. It's about customer service. I mean, I don't think you guys will honestly say that Black businesses have the same level of customer service as other groups. And I'm not just talking about Africa, Willie. Yeah, in Africa, it's probably even worse. The customer service is not there.
He has a point. It depends where you go. He has a point.
But no, Dinas. But if the customer doesn't view that as something that actually impacts their patronizing that business, then why would you focus any real attention on it? You don't hear African people like, yo, can't never find a bathroom that's clean around here. They actually have bigger things to worry about. So
Well,
what we're doing is we're taking first world problems and placing them as a thing of importance in third world places in developing countries. They'll get there. They're getting there. But I'm not going to sit up here and waste my time talking about bathrooms in Africa like that's something that's really the Chinese ain't worried about a bathroom. The Lebanese ain't worried about a bathroom.
well,
But
see, that's
somehow
part
the
of
whole
the edge.
conversation gets
Listen, that's
reduced
part of
down to the
the
cleaning of the bathrooms, bro.
That's part of the edge that they have. They are paying more attention to the details.
Their bathrooms
Now, when
are
you
filthy
look,
as hell too in Africa, so it don't make a difference, bro. I went to a lot of different Indian places. Their bathrooms are just as dirty.
Yeah.
In Africa, a bathroom is not something that's going to make or break a business, bro. It's just not. So can we move on to something? You are a smart dude. Let's move on to the global reset mindset. We keep on dragging our conversations down into the toilet, no pun intended, but we keep dragging our conversations down there. And that's the problem with our people and a lot of the people who get on this channel. We have way too many intellectuals. We have very too few people who are actually going from point A to point Z, creating something, solving a real issue.
well, listen, the global reset, that's a very vague thing to look for. Now, focusing on the specific things that a Black business can do to be more competitive, that's a way more tangible thing to focus on. And as far as the restaurant industry, if you go into any slum in Africa, even somewhere like Makoko and Lagos, which is basically stilts on water, you'll see quite a bit of businesses there. They have bars, barber shops, clubs. They have everything you would need. The issue is bringing it up to scale and bringing it up to international standards. And in Nigeria, I know most of the Nigerian Americans that are coming back are actually going into the restaurant industry. And that's really good because we can bring the things we've learned in the US about customer service, and it's mainly customer service, honestly.
Well, I think
what do we know about customer service?
Hold on, Brandon. But Will, I think the thing is, it really just depends on which restaurant you go to. Because I've been to some restaurants in Africa where the customer service was great. I've been to more restaurants in Africa where the customer service was great versus bad. That's what I'm saying. I just think
it could be. I mean, that could be because like they know you're an American. Do you think that could have played a role in it?
I don't know, because they don't know what I am till I open my mouth.
So people are saying Brandon is thinking about the basic things. That's fine. I'm not thinking about basic things. I'm thinking about building a true middle class, y'all. And what you guys don't understand is when you listen, this is how it works. Let me give you guys a 2-second lesson on economics. If you build a middle class, that means more people can afford to go to that restaurant. That means that restaurant can afford to move to a better space, which has a more adequate bathroom. That is how economics works. You can't fix the bathroom if there's no money to afford to fix it. So what they're doing is they're doing what they can afford at the time. And as they generate more money, like, okay, in Kenya, you could go to Swahili dishes. You go in there and eat. You go down to Mwindi Bingo Street. You go eat at Swahili dishes. Hey, it's delicious food, but there might be like cats running all over because they like cats, I guess. You go to the bathroom. You got to go in what looks like an alley, and the bathroom is kind of crazy. Go around the corner, right, to the business that was created. That's a basic family business. Go around the corner to CJ's, which was built by a billionaire, a Kenyan billionaire. CJ's is very nice, aesthetic, beautiful bathrooms, super clean. All that is Black owned, since we talked about Black people not having it over there. It's beautiful. Look up CJ's in Nairobi if you want to see what I'm talking about. The bathrooms are worked. They're beautiful. No cats running around, whatever. That guy has the capital to create that. But the middle class is all going where? To CJ's. So he generates the money, right, to maintain that. And there's like 1 billion people working there too. The mom and pop spot, right, it's frequented by locals. The food's a little cheaper. So the guy down there just working a low-wage job, he can go and grab him a sandwich or a plate of goat meat with chips or whatever. See, different things cater to different people based on their income. So if we raise the income of people in those areas by creating jobs like what I like to do, then the standards of these places goes up because more people are able to patronize those places. So
yeah, I mean, we fundamentally agree because, like I said earlier, all these businesses are there. It's not that the Indians or whatever are controlling everything. They only have a very small fraction of the market. The issue is that they have the higher end part of the market, the places where the tourists go. But as far as like the masses of businesses,
it depends which country, Willie.
Who does?
It depends which country, bro.
On that end of the market.
It depends which country. But go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
Yeah. So when the countries become wealthier and the middle classes grow and these businesses get that capital base they need to bring stuff up to standard, I think that in most African countries, the vast majority of businesses will be owned by locals. So that's definitely something that's going to happen. But as far as in some countries I've been to, Cape Verde, for example, the situation was bad. Damn near every single shop you would go into was owned by Chinese people. They would even paint like the outside of the store in red, green, and black, and put Africa signs on it to make it look like a pro-black place. You'd go in there, it'd be Chinese owned. So it's a problem. It's definitely something we need to work on. I understand what the earlier caller was talking about, how soul-crushing it is to see that when you're in Africa.
And what did you do, Willie? Let me just say this. Everybody can say what they want. When I went to Kenya in 2014. I saw that when I go on Airbnb, every Airbnb, even though it was like they might have a black person on the face of it, it was either Arab or Chinese owning it. I said, I don't like this. I don't like that we are underrepresented in the hospitality industry. I don't like that a black person is here working for an Arab, making you think a black person owns this place. So I said, look, I was with my friends. I said, first, let me find an Airbnb owned by a black person. That was my friend Francis. He had a beautiful rooftop apartment. I said, look, Francis, you're a great guy. He asked me to do him a favor and receive the next guests who were going to come because he was going to be out of town. So I passed him the key and told him all the details. I hit him up. I said, you do me a favor. He said, what? I said, you teach me how to open one of these over there. He said, bro, this is all you need to do. It's a very simple process. I didn't like what I saw in the hospitality industry. So I got into the hospitality industry. I didn't like what I saw in the kiosk industry, which I've never really seen any Asians owning there. But I saw that was a nice thing because it sits at the bottom of the apartment building where you have your apartments. So I said, I need to get into that. So I got into that. If you see something you don't like, if you look around and you cannot find the circumstances you want, create them. Willie, as smart as you are, there's nothing keeping you from doing it.
Listen, I didn't say there was. I plan on going to Africa next year.
This is look, we talk to the audience. Don't take this personal. As smart as you are, as smart as I am, as smart as Dynas is, there's nothing keeping us from going to Cape Verde and paying $200 or $100 a month for a space, throwing some stuff in there, paying somebody $50 a month or whatever to work in there and start that business too. We act like we can't do what the Chinese are doing. We act like our people are doing something wrong if the Chinese come in and do it. But then we come to America where the Chinese and everybody else is doing the same things in our community where I got friends who make over $150,000 a year. You know where they are right now? Miami, on boats, riding jet skis and all that crap. Are they going back to the neighborhood where they claim, oh, I'm from the east side? Are they saying, look, what can I do in my community? How I could sell donuts in my community? They're not saying that. They're saying, I want to take my money, go to Miami, buy those gold. I've never drank alcohol in my life, but there's gold bottles of champagne, I guess. And they want to post on Instagram, and then they in crawlers and all kinds of cars, on jet skis, whatever. And then they go back home and say, oh, this sucks. I got to buy a Chinese donut from a Chinese person. We got to stop looking at what other races are doing and saying, oh, it's so terrible over there. They're doing what you're unwilling to do. They're focused on feeding their family and creating generational wealth. You're focused on getting on jet skis, going to Vegas, doing all this silly stuff. Stop saying the situation is bad. Let's just say we don't give a damn enough about that situation to where we will actually do something to change it. See, and that's the problem. I don't want to hear how bad it is in Africa. I want to hear what you're doing in Africa to change that reality. And Willie, you're Nigerian. So you're going to tell me what you're doing in Nigeria to change the situation in Lagos with the Lebanese, or what you're doing in Cape Verde to change the situation with the Chinese. Dinah's got to tell me that. Everybody got to tell me that. But I see Dinah's doing stuff. That's the reset. That's the reset we need to do. Stop talking about how bad something is. Oh Lord, it's so bad. We need to do to change those situations, because we can do it. But it's just a matter of want to. A lot of people get on here wanting to talk, but they don't want to work. They like talking. Everybody says Brandon likes to hear himself talk, but Brandon likes to see himself work too. That's the difference between me and a lot of people.
All right, go ahead, Willie, and then let me get Nicholas on Nico.
Yeah, go ahead. At the end of the day, the problem with Black people is the victimhood mentality. Especially
we agree.
Especially with Black America, like this whole thing where we always want to blame outside groups for the things we should be doing ourselves. That's the if you want to talk about a legacy of slavery, that's what it is. This whole thing where people want others to save us, vote for Biden so he can save us from whatever. Even vote for Trump so he can save us. That's all the same thing. So, but that's all I want to say. We fundamentally agree on that point.
All right, brother, we appreciate you. All right, go ahead, Nicholas. And guys, if you want to call in, send me an email at uhuru@searchforahuru.com, uhuru@searchforahuru.com. Again, uhuru@searchforahuru.com. Call in and go ahead and state your case. Again, send me an email, uhuru@searchforahuru.com, uhuru@searchforahuru.com. And guys, hit that like button. We're almost at 500 watchers. So again, guys, please hit that like button and please share. Everyone, please share. Go on your social media page and share this video. All right, go ahead, Nicholas.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Dinus. Brandon, I mean, I absolutely agree with what you're saying. And just for if anybody is looking for some inspiration, it's at the end of the day, it has to be put up or shut up, right? Because there's an organization created by Dr. Arikana, ADDA, African Diaspora Development Institute, right? So one of the leaders, one of the engineers, he had this thing planned out for probably 3-4 years, and he was planning to run a railway and a highway around from the Tanzania area all the way across the continent, so connecting the Indian Ocean with the Atlantic Ocean, right? And along it's going to be a high-speed railway, and it's also going to be a highway. And they're also looking to acquire land to build cities around it. As of right now, they're currently in the fundraising stage of it. But later on down the road, there is going to be investment opportunities, because they're taking that money and buying bonds and investing it in the land. And those lands are going to have minerals in it, as of gold, coltan, things like that. So
hold on real quick. I want to say this first. First of all, I can't plug my group on here. So this is the thing. Disclaimer, do not send money to nothing on YouTube unless you've physically been on the ground to go see it. Okay. I don't have an issue with the person's idea and her idea and all that stuff. But what I will say is, you crossing a lot of countries with a lot of different stuff going on, talking about railroads and building cities. That's the first thing you need to think about.
Right.
Now, the second thing is, don't send money to nobody on YouTube that when you ain't went there and physically seen what they talking about doing. I just want to give that disclaimer first, because you ain't about to say Brandon was on the show and I sent my money and it was messed up. So you can go.
I agree. I agree. You're absolutely correct. I mean, I'm just going to give her the benefit of the doubt, just because she was with the AU and she got kicked out for speaking out against the AU and UN about, the 13 countries, that was giving out, $500 million back to France, things like that. And right now, this organization is filled with over 50 different diasporans from different, backgrounds, as far as engineers, doctors, lawyers, and things like that. like Brandon says, definitely you want to do your research, but this is a chance for us to own, the infrastructure. Because like she says, things are going to be built. Highways are going to be built. Railways are going to be built. But who's going to own the infrastructure? That's what we're getting at. Because really that plan was supposed to go to the Chinese. I don't remember his name exactly, but the engineer that drew up the proposal was supposed to get funding by the Chinese. And get this, the coronavirus happened, and that sort of threw a monkey wrench in it. And then from there, he hooked up with Dr. Arikana, and then they got together. They're like, okay, let's see.
You mean Trump forced them to pay billions in tariffs? That's what threw a monkey wrench in their plan, not Corona.
Probably.
They get a lot of money to the United States right now every month in the multiples billions of dollars. So they're cash poor right now. They're actually devaluing their currency to try to create fake wealth so they can go give Africa some more of that invisible money. But
that's right.
Yeah, so you just, but yeah, that's a great idea. Dr. Arikana and all that stuff. She's a great lady, I guess. She did work for the EU for a long time, and then she finally grew a conscience, and all of a sudden she's on our side. But yeah, those projects are great to support. That's infrastructure. If you want to put your money in that, you're going to have to ask yourself, what's your return on investment in doing that? Who are these people handling the finances of that? How it translates into wealth for you. My thing is always start simple. Do something that you can control 100%. Make sure your money is it's a money that can be insured by you. And also make sure that it's employing, your people, because the same people are like, we're going to build a railway and this and that. They will still hire a Chinese company to go build it. That don't mean anything, because they're going to go for who will build it the cheapest, especially when money start dwindling. So Dr. Arcana is beautiful, but we just need a global reset. And what I would do is suggest to Arcana, instead of one thing I don't like that we do in our community, we try to do a lot of overreach, right? So instead of trying to build a railroad from sea to shining sea, why don't we just try to get that railroad going through one or two countries first? Let me get from freaking Rwanda to Nigeria first. Then I could worry about going through the terrorist.
Sea to shining sea.
Hey, listen. Then I could worry about going through the terrorist belt through Sudan and all that stuff. So just realistically, though, and so we got to start country by country. And that's what's going to work, because that's what Chinese are doing. Chinese didn't say we're going to build a railroad from this point to all the way on this other side. They said, let's just put a railroad in Kenya from Nairobi to Mombasa.
But Brennan did.
What Nicholas, go ahead and respond, and I'm gonna get the next call on here.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. The Chinese were already behind it. They already full. And when he went to this conference to bring his proposals, all the big guys were there. The U.S., the France, and everything like that. And the Chinese really wanted to own this railway. This is something that's really revolutionary. You know what I'm saying? So you have the dam going on in Ethiopia. You have the Nigerians going on with the oil. And now you have the diaspora saying we're gonna connect everything, so we can capitalize and make it cheaper to move things around the continent.
All right, Nicholas, we appreciate you for coming on, brother.
All right.
Peace.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mike.
Hey, Dennis. Brandon. Hey, what's up, buddy? Hey. Okay, I just want to add to the topic, man. This is a very brilliant topic, to be honest. I don't know who to give the credit. I don't know if it was you or Brandon that came up with it, but whoever came up with it is brilliant, man. This is a very brilliant topic, man. So we need a black reset, or we won't last another 100 years. Man, this is brilliant, guys. Listen, we definitely need a black reset right now. And before we do that, first thing we need to do is look back in the past 100 years, right? And see what we can learn from events of the past 100 years, right? Now, in 1949, a group of white people, in fact, they were actually young white people, came up with the idea that, listen, we need to do a reset, We Europeans, we've just been fighting each other, So they came up with an idea of NATO. NATO is basically, it's pretty much just white. It's kind of like how we have pan-africanism. It's kind of like European. What's the European version of pan-africanism? It's going to be So they pretty much say, hey, we white people need to come together and just form a, pretty much global white organization. And they decided to form NATO. And think about it today. NATO countries are the richest countries in the world. So now, another black person in 1959 saw the idea and decided, hey, how about we African will form an organization of African unity? And that person was Kwame Nkrumah, right? But those Africans back there were too dumb. They didn't get it. They didn't get where it was coming from. So that generation failed us, So now, those are two lessons we can learn from the past 100 years. Now, moving forward, as Brandon said with this topic, hey, let's do a reset. How about we learn the lesson from those events and form a global black union? And this time, let's make it, since our generation seems to be having more connection with one another compared to the previous generation globally. Because it seems like this is like the first time where we can see the diaspora and blacks, Black Americans, Africans, Caribbeans. I mean, we're getting on YouTube talking every day and all these things, So how about we come together and form a global young African, or let's say organization of descendant of African Union or something, Let's form the organization, kind of like they do with NATO. And
so let me say this about NATO. NATO is a military alliance of many of northern countries, which actually was designed to keep Russia from growing, which was the USSR. USSR was a bunch of satellite countries around the globe, and Russia was expanding. These countries felt that they were under imminent threat by Russia. And they also felt that if they got into a global war, there would be nuclear weapons that were used, and it would basically it would eradicate them, right?
You're on the military part, but on the economic part,
hold on real quick. So they did it out of survival, right? So the white man, when he sees that there's something going on that threatens his very existence, he understands that you have to pivot and then come together, right? When we see something that's on Earth, that's happening in our diaspora or on the continent that threatens our very existence, we want to talk about bathroom cleanliness. That's the difference. How many people in NATO sitting at that table was like, yo, but was really, look, Russia the nuclear weapons at an alarming rate.
They didn't say, no, we're not doing it because of
it's the condition of these bathrooms over here. So we have to understand, really, when you talk about stuff like this is a serious conversation, but it's not really serious because a lot of people are invited to the table who really shouldn't even be, wouldn't even be allowed in these spaces realistically. So that's what I want the people to know. If you are a serious person thinking seriously, right, you have to start doing it, and you can't really allow yourself to be swayed by people who just jump on and because all that is just personal issues. And that's what we love to do. Look, Dinus, you need to feed your family, but I can't sit my butt on a dirty toilet seat. That's a personal issue being put on into a space where we're addressing something global, and we continuously do that, and we have to stop. But you're right about NATO. It was designed to help white people survive, and we need to put something together like that. And
also, yeah, go ahead, Mike, and then I'm gonna pass it on.
And also, I can understand why those people were talking the way they were talking, and what they failed to do was trying to look back and see what got us to where we are, why we're in that position, why we have all these issues of terrible bathrooms and all these things. And if they do take their time to look back, they will understand that one fundamental issue that the Black people will be having globally is that we've been lacking organization and leadership. Those are the two main things. So moving forward in this reset, two things we need to focus on: those two things, the organization and leadership. And our generation need to take lesson from the old mistakes of the old generation. I understand that. Listen, man, those are the two things we need to focus on right now: organization and leadership. We have to come together and lead the next generation coming up. And one thing I want to propose is this: if we come together and form that organization, what we need to do is, in every country, every Black country, we'll get all the best minds together and put them in the organization, right? And every year we'll come together and elect who's going to be the president of the organization, wherever country is going to come from. And one of the most important thing we have to do is build an institution, a school, build one school, right? And make sure we get children from every black country, right? Certain percentage, equal percentage of kids from every black country, and put them into that school and train them, brainwash them for the future to be the leader, people that will take over to lead the next generation in the future, right? Train them in areas of technology, leadership, all areas that we're lacking, we're having issues. Let's put them in their school and train them, prepare their mind. Like they said, if it's gonna take you 8 hours to cut down a tree, you need to spend 6 hours sharpening your knife. So things we are talking about, if we're gonna embark on that journey, it's gonna take time. We have to prepare. It's not gonna happen in our generation. We have to prepare the next generation for their future. So the moves we need to make right now is to get all our talents together, all our effort, all our resources together right now, and just get these young ones coming up and just prepare them for the future. So that's like the best thing where we need to focus right now. We need to stop talking about what's wrong with us right now. And yeah, we should talk about what's wrong with us, but we should be talking more about how to solve it, how to make sure that the next generation don't end up where we are right now. Because obviously the previous generation failed us globally. The previous generation in Africa failed the young Africans today. The previous generation in Black America failed the Black Americans today. The previous generation in the Caribbean, globally, our previous generation failed every one of us. So the best thing we should focus on right now is how can we make sure we don't fail the next generation, you know?
Mike,
Yes,
Mike,
all right, Mike, we appreciate you coming on, Mike, brother. Appreciate it, brother.
All right, thanks, man. Thanks,
let me respond to that. One of the reasons why the older generation failed us is because all the older generation focused on was passing all the responsibility down to the next generation.
Kick the can.
They didn't really take any accountability on fixing the situations now. I'm a man who's in my 30s. I hear men in their 30s talk about, man, we got to make it better. We got to do it we got to train the next generation. Well, so once you work on training them, what is your lazy butt going to do? And what that is we just keep passing the buck to the next group. I heard somebody 25 years old talking about the next generation. That's what we do best. When other races, you see the present generation working hard to create something that the next generation can inherit. Not, we need to educate them. How can we educate the next generation on something we ain't never even did? That's why we're in the situation we're in, because a lot of our people, we didn't educate our next generation to let them know what to do with the things we have. So like my grandma, she owned a house. My auntie got the house and sold the house. And now what's my auntie going to pass down to the next generation? But that's because my grandma didn't educate none of the kids on the importance of home ownership, how to generate wealth through real estate, all that stuff. Soon as they got the house, they couldn't wait to get rid of it. They didn't say, yo, let's rent it out. Nothing. So instead of saying we just need to educate so we're reset. We now have to get that stuff back, then educate the youth on what to do with it once we hand it to them. So we have to do a reset. Everybody's selling grandma house. So grandma house has been sold. Now we got to go reacquire that wealth, then teach the next generation what to do with it. But we are very young and we are very strong. And I'm not quite yet willing to put the responsibility on the younger generation. I feel like there's still time for us to do something so that they can inherit something, so they won't have to start from zero. All we do is make our kids start from zero.
All right, Joar, go ahead.
Hey, Mike. Hey, Dinus. Thanks for letting me call in. Yeah, I'll start off with this. The way the demographics are going in America right now, the future of America, unfortunately, for Black Americans, it seems like it's going very Hispanic. But the future of the world is Africa. Let that not be a mistake. That's why the Chinese are there. I read an article back in 2011 that there are more Chinese people in Africa, continental Africa, than the height of the European colonization of Africa. They know what's up. They know what's up, right? I lived in Africa for 2.5 years in the Peace Corps in Burkina Faso. And one thing you do notice is that China has a heavy presence there. Not only that, if you're talking about African Americans or Anglophones investing in Africa, We don't speak any French. How are you going to go engage in the French-speaking countries? Let it be Mali, Burkina, Senegal, even like the Gambia to a certain degree. How are you going to invest in even speak the language? So there is a language barrier that's holding us from engaging these countries on any level, whether it be political, economical, or any form of fashion. And to engage it, what industries are you going to get into? What industry you can get into? First and foremost, Africa, I mean, you could get into like healthcare, you get into water sanitation. Those are the deliverables those people need right now, or even tech. They have the labor force. They have they have the drive. How are we in these parts of the world going to pool our resources and engage them in a real economic union? Right? That's what pan-Africanism we're trying to do in the 50s and 60s. We're
Gerard,
just falling short. Yeah.
let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
How does a Chinese person who don't speak a lick of English, French, none of that, how do they manage to get in these countries and somehow communicate with the people there and create economic hubs? See, we can't be having that, oh, we don't speak this language and all this stuff. Everything is just about how you carry yourself. If I go to the hood, I don't care what hood I go to. I know there's certain things you do and you don't do when you go to a different place you've never been. They put labels on products so they don't have to discuss the price with you. Things like that. You walk in, pick it up, put the money down, and take it. So all I'm saying is I'm a pan-Africanist, but I don't think we need to try to recreate pan-Africanism all over Africa. What I understand is that we need to take pan-Africanist values and apply them to the current situation. I try to hear conversations about the 60s, the 50s, the 90s, the 80s, the 70s. What are you going to do tomorrow? That's it. What are you going to do a week later? I'm going back to Kenya in a month. What are you going to do next month to help Africa? See, I. You could go to the Burkina Faso for the Peace Corps for the white man. Why haven't you went back there on your own accord to go combat that Chinese influence? See, I'm asking you a question. When is the last time you went to Burkina Faso, and why was it okay for you to go there with the white man, but you haven't been back on your own accord to fix the problem?
Well, unfortunately, Burkina had a revolution that caused a lot of instability in Burkina Faso, right? So we know there's a lot of the village where I lived in. There's roadside mines right there right now. Villages are being blown up.
Yeah, Gerard, there's a rapper there, a former rapper there by the name of JT, the Bigger Figure from San Francisco, who's building in Burkina Faso as we speak.
No, I get what you're saying. I'm not saying it's not feasible. I'm just laying out what some of the issues are. We understand China, they have a whole global program.
But we don't want to know the issues. We want to know what he just told you. Wait, listen. Beware of negative people because they have a problem for every solution. He just told you somewhere where you can go where there's a person. Wait, listen. He just told you there's somebody building there. You just highlighted a problem from there. Let's not get in a situation where we're highlighting problems, but we are making excuses on the solutions. See what I'm saying? Because we need solutions. So you need to be our plug in Burkina Faso because you've been there. When the white man told you to go out there and live in a hut, you went and did it. So now you need to do that on your own accord.
Absolutely, and that's what I'm doing right now. So currently, I work in academia, engaging young Africans. I teach young Africans in a public health school. We are looking to do something in the private sector in water sanitation to deliver those.
Who's we?
Me and the African students I engage with in my public health school. We are trying to find solutions. We're doing it on the academic level, but trying to translate that into the private sector.
What did you do for the Peace Corps in Burkina Faso?
I was a community health volunteer in the Peace Corps doing water sanitation projects. And there are real solutions we developed. And right now, I am engaging people in Burkina Faso. The situation's a little bit dire right now, obviously, but I still have connections there, trying to engage the people I know on the ground to do something positive. So,
how dire is it if JT, the Bigger Figure, is over there building? If JT is over there building, how dire is it really? I want to know because dire is relative.
Yeah. I mean, the whole government decided to resign last year, but that's not here today. I agree with you. We could go in there. I have to find the right people in America to engage there to raise the capital to go in there with full force. I mean, you could do simple things as even animal husbandry, doing poultry there. It's feasible.
So why aren't you doing it?
Huh?
Why aren't you doing it?
Oh, right now I'm just finishing up my master's degree in
Oh,
public health.
There we go.
And then yeah.
That's a recurrent. Wait, hold on. And that's a recurrent theme among our people.
Yeah.
We go and get this European education, and everything got to go on hold. Why did we go and get that thing where this white man telling us that we ready to go do whatever we gonna do? But wait a minute. So all I'm saying is, it don't cost much to start a chicken farm. It don't.
Yeah.
We got to learn how to walk and chew gum at the same time.
Absolutely.
You giving that man your money for a master's degree when you should have took your money and went and built that chicken farm in Africa.
No,
but
yeah.
Instead of doing that, we got to get that piece of paper. And that's one thing. Look, I don't have a degree. I'll tell you, I don't have a degree at all.
Mm-hmm.
But guess what? That's money I saved. Now I can go invest in Africa. You feel me? And that's what you got to understand. The education is cool, but like every other educational system on the planet, it's theoretical knowledge. Doesn't necessarily mean it's applicable knowledge.
All right, Brandon, let him finish, and then I'll get the next caller on. Go ahead, Jar. Go ahead.
Absolutely, Brandon. So you're right. So at least in the public health school I'm engaging with kids from Cameroon to the Congo, and we're having the exact same conversations. How do I connect with you with your people in Congo? How do I connect with your people in Cameroon? How do I connect with your people in Ghana? Right? And we're trying to build this infrastructure to go back there and do something on the private sector, not necessarily for charity or volunteer or public health. So we're making these connections here to go back and leverage these networks in Africa.
So these people can't even afford to pay to go to the doctor. So you gonna go squeeze some blood out of a turnip because you're gonna leverage your education and health for capital gain, right? And this is what I'm talking about. Everything's about, let me go, take me and some other people to go pull more money out of this African country than they even got. But when you do that, now maybe you'll create a few jobs, but I'm talking like it kind of seems to me, and I don't know, I could be totally wrong.
Yeah.
But he didn't say nonprofit, VA Abdel, so stop.
No, it's not nonprofit. I'm not trying to do anything nonprofit.
I want to get the next caller on, but Gerard, go ahead and say your and close out.
No, thank you guys so much. I think you guys are doing a good job. Yes, I think we could all come together and try to find viable solutions to engage the whole subcontinent of Africa.
Okay.
There's a lot of value in Africa. There's a lot of value.
Yeah, I mean, Major, real quick. Go ahead, Major.
First of all, how's everybody doing? How you doing, Brandon? How you doing, Big Brandon?
I'm good. How you
doing? Well?
I'm good.
I'm doing well. How you doing, Big Dinosaur man? How you doing? You doing well?
Doing good, man. Can't complain. Can't complain.
As I'm sitting here listening to this conversation, man, it's been delightful, man. And Brandon, you definitely got a good head on your shoulders, man. But as I sit here and really listen to you and all of us and keeping things on the topic, I think one of the reasons that we're having a lot of issues is what's becoming apparent is fairly clear to me is that, first of all, you guys, both of y'all, like most Black people, it seems like you guys don't actually know what the actual problem is. I think you know what's the problem with Black American people, right? But I don't think you actually know what the problem is. I say that you don't know what the problem is because in this entire 2 hours and 2 minutes, I've not heard anybody, not you, not Dinus, not anyone who's called in, actually state what's going on in Africa in any real accuracy. Like, for example, I hear a lot of Black people talk about the Chinese presence in Africa and how it's this terrible thing. And what you don't realize is that the Chinese presence in Africa Chinese have been in Africa and been doing business in Africa going all the way back since pre-colonialism. After China, these countries in Africa became free. The first people who started pumping money into those countries were Chinese. It started to become a problem when something very important started to happen. And that important thing that started to happen is certain countries, i.e. starting with Ethiopia, started to go from not raw resource producers to actual manufacturers. The entire global economic system as it exists today cannot function if Africa ever industrializes. Because if Africa industrializes, then the standard of living for the rest of the world that benefit from Africa's poverty will decrease. Right? So what the Chinese were doing is China, their way of making money is they are the manufacturer of the world, and they have become really good at infrastructure. Well, they built out their country, and now they have a lot of excess capacity, so they need new markets to build infrastructure in. Africa has a dire shortage on infrastructure, and so it's in the Chinese's best interest to move that excess capacity into Africa to go ahead and build out that infrastructure. And at the same time, Chinese entrepreneurs needing access to cheap labor so they could keep manufacturing things cheaply, were starting to move their factories to Africa, and were hiring thousands of Africans in those factories, which had that continued, that would have led to African industrialization. At that point, Western society, the Europeans, Americans, starting to realize what would happen, became a propaganda campaign against the Chinese. And like, as usual, idiot, dumb black people fell for it. And you continue to spill those talking points, and you don't know what you're talking about, because the Chinese, in many ways, were one of the reasons that a lot of African economies were the fastest growing economies in the world up until recently, was because of Chinese investment and the industrialization that was happening because of it. Again, Chinese involvement in Africa only became a problem when Chinese involvement started to lead to African industrialization. Now, at the same time, because most black people don't understand what was going on, including Africans, you first fell for white people's talking points. That's one. And two, didn't realize how you could take advantage of the situation to industrialize Africa on the Chinese dime, because they've got all this excess capacity and there's no use for it in their own country. So they needed a market. They need a market, not just need it, they still need a market to send all that excess capacity to. They also need to be able to have access to the African market, because they continue to pump out stuff that they manufacture, and Africa is a 1.3 billion person market and growing. So China literally needs Africa, and if Africa simply understood that, they could probably leverage that situation similar to what the Koreans did with the Japanese to industrialize their society. I find it quite interesting and somewhat disturbing how easy it is for Negroes to fall for white people's talking points and start spewing it themselves. I'd like to understand why that is. Now, the next part of this as well. By the way, man, Brandon, a tariff is not paid by China. Okay, a tariff is paid by you, the consumer. So what's actually happened is the money that Trump has been collecting from all those tariffs he put on Chinese goods have been getting paid by you, the consumer. And what China is doing by devaluing its currency is to try to get its products to be cheap enough to overcome the tariff. So Trump is not helping you by putting a tariff on Chinese goods. He's hurting you because he's making the goods that you rely on cost more. Now, I'm not a pro-Trump. I'm not anti-Trump. I'm actually pro-Trump. But I am anti-bad economic information, which continues to reinforce our stupidity. I'm tired of how stupid we are. It gets on my nerves. Now, we as Black people, we do need to start thinking global. But the first thing that we have to understand is how the global economy actually works. The global economy as it works today requires resource-rich nations, not just Africa, Latin America too, but in this case, we're going to focus on Africa, to maintain a position as raw resource producers. That means they must maintain them as poor. They have to keep them as poor, because if they ever become manufacturers, then the standard of living in the rest of the developed world will decrease. Now, what are the solutions?
Okay, let me just say this. I don't want to get into the thing about China because I don't agree with you. But anyway, what I was talking about is this. what I would talk about is this. In America, the way the economy got to where it was that back in the day, you used to be able to go and work a factory job or a grocery store job, and you had enough capital to be able to buy a house, basically improve your way of living, right? China, although they're making Africa industrialization and they're making them creators and manufacturers, it does you no good if your country's manufacturing if the people are making pennies on the dollar. Chinese are just looking for a cheaper labor source because their people are actually like, yo, we ain't gonna work for crumbs no more, so they gotta go search for a cheaper labor.
Bro,
labor.
I need to listen to what you said. Bro.
I didn't interrupt you.
You just said something blatantly inaccurate.
Hold on.
And I'm not concerned about you. I'm concerned about the people who are listening to you. Do you understand? Wait. Do you understand that China became extremely wealthy by leveraging its cheap labor source to produce things cheaper?
And so, then, hold on.
Wait, Brandon. The fact that African labor is so cheap is a good thing because it means that you can manufacture things. That's a competitive advantage for Africans, meaning that they can produce things for less than everybody else. And if you can produce things for less than everybody else, you could sell things for less than everybody else to profit. That means you can grab more market share and take over industries. So cheap African labor is your friend. It is a tool for African wealth development as it was a tool for Chinese wealth development. So to say that the Chinese want to move their factories over to Africa because of cheap African labor, yeah, of course they fucking do. The same way white people want to move their manufacturers to China for cheap Chinese labor. Over time, the Africans will become better and better at producing things. And then guess what? They'll not only be able to manufacture, but they'll have all of the raw materials as well. So they could be the only fully vertically integrated industrial society. That would make Africa the most powerful group of nations that the world has ever seen. They would be able to start to sanction other countries.
Okay, let me finish my point I'm making, because what you're saying is, it seems to make sense, but it really doesn't, because China they leverage their cheap labor to make the government incredibly rich, right? But it really only raised the standard of living for a small amount of people. So America's middle class is like 50%, right? So 50% of Americans are middle class. Chinese, their middle class is 39%, but it's going down. It's going down. So what I'm telling you is this: you can go work cheap labor, but once your labor force stops wanting to work for crumbs, you are then forced to try to move that labor force to another place where people will work for crumbs. So what China is really doing is they're just hopscotching from African country to African country, and this is what they're going to do, trying to look for the cheapest labor force. So it may create a little wealth, but really with what they're paying is still maintaining the poverty class.
Okay, again, but I feel like first of all, what you just said is inaccurate.
Hold on. Lou, hold on. What it's really doing is just maintaining that low class of people. That's why I'm saying when we go to Africa, we will be creating a true middle class, people who are like earning money where they could support a family. The Chinese are offering like $1 a day. That's why they're really not doing a lot of factory stuff in countries where people actually want to make money. That's the whole thing. So they're going to the places where people are absolutely destitute and paying them like $1. And look, to Bobo Malloy, you said Brandon is right, Lou. No, you cannot say that people making pennies on the dollar is good for the economy, because all it's doing is doing just like in America. If somebody got to work 3 jobs to feed their family, that's not a sign of the economy doing good. So the African only can get
a very obvious fact here.
Yes.
If there was no Chinese factory paying them $1, that guy would not have a job.
Right?
Okay, so now here's the deal. I'm not, look, I'm saying to you, what's going to save Africa is using Africa's natural competitive advantage, one of which is their cheap labor source. Because here's the deal, because African labor is so cheap, that means that Chinese and business person could go to Africa and hire 500 African workers who otherwise would not have a job.
Lou Major, your sound's going in and out. Your sound.
I said, my bad. I said, because of the fact that African labor is so cheap, that means that Chinese business person could go to Africa, open up his factory, and he could hire. I'll just throw a number out there.
Lou Major, you're cutting in and out. Let's go in and out.
All right, let me jump on. I'll jump off and jump back on. Give me a second.
Okay.
Okay, so Dinus, all I'm going to say to that is this. You got Chinese people going in exploiting cheap African labor. So while you feel like, oh yeah, everything's going to get better. No, it's not, because those people will demand a higher standard of living based on the little crumbs they make it. And then China will just say, yo, we're going to leave. They did it to their own people in their own country. You literally right now in China have huge protests of Chinese labor unions and workers where they're trying to do unions and stuff, because once those people got to the point where they realized, yo, I'm not trying to work for $1 a day anymore, they started to try to create unions. And those, Andromeda, please mute your mic real quick. They started to try to create unions to demand better work conditions. And what did China do? They said, nope, adios, we going to Africa. So all you're doing is submitting your people to be exploited by China like they did to their people for decades to get rich. Now, if you know about China, their government, their GDP and stuff is actually beginning to, their growth is actually beginning to stagnate, right? Because they can't match the rate they were growing at, like 10% every year. Now they're getting in a normal realm of growth. And to talk about the point of we're paying the tariffs, no, we're not. American companies pay the tariffs, right? And when the tariffs are so high, those companies say, well, why are we importing these things? Because if we're paying this much to bring it into the country, we might as well pay to make it in the country. And
go ahead and finish it.
That move by Trump saved the company Roku, which makes the TVs and the little thing like the Fire Stick, and they became top 3 in the creation and distribution of smart televisions, because once the prices got so ridiculous on Samsung and all that, Roku was able to sell a TV at a cheaper price because they manufacture in Silicon Valley. So people can say a lot of things, but the reality is that you do not want to put your people into slave labor, even though some people think that that's acceptable for Africans because it's not them, but they won't work for those crumbs.
Okay, go ahead, Andromeda, go ahead. Andromeda, let me unmute.
Good?
Go ahead.
All right, so Brandon, you are saying a lot of things that are not accurate. Mm-hmm. First of all, Chinese economy is not standard. Right now they're not standard at all, because the COVID-19 problem that we have, Chinese economy has been growing. Actually, if you use a different matrix to measure Chinese economy, you will find that it's the largest economy in the world. That's one. Two, you guys need to study economics for real. Tariff is used different ways. They can be used for political purpose as a protectionist tool. They can be used, to protect the local industry, allow them time to grow. And other countries that are, say if you do that within the, let's say, you do that within North Africa, it's very easy for, say, Mexico to retaliate and also put tariff on the product. And by the way, when you put a tariff on the product, the consumers are not responsible for paying for it, because the consumer has two choices. They can go to somebody else and buy it that sells the same product that is cheaper. So it's up to the supplier to decide to compete, if they can compete for the consumers to buy their product. They don't have to pass the tariff to the consumers. So when you guys say, oh, you say the consumer pays for it, and you say the supplier pays for it, sometimes the government subsidizes tariff. So sometimes the government will subsidize it, and so you don't have to pay for it, or the supplier doesn't have to pay for it. So it's a game. And when you guys talking about growing Africa, going back to Africa and making things happen and stuff like that, you're also forgetting the fundamental problem in Africa. Okay? Unless you can resolve unless you can resolve the corruption problem in Africa, unless you can create the environment to build business in Africa, it doesn't matter what kind of idea you have. It doesn't matter. You're not going to be able to succeed. Everybody keep coming in and say, "Oh, go and build a chicken farm. Go and build a rice farm. Go and build all this local stuff." That is not how you grow an industry in Africa. That's not how you're going to turn Africa to be an industrialized nation. This is a technology age, okay? And what we need to do is be able to compete in that level. We need to be able to build industry. We need to build engineering industry. We need to build construction industry. We need to be able to do this. Specifically in Nigeria, we have a lot of construction industry that are doing this kind of job. We just need to encourage them. One, and when you talk about bringing in
Okay, hold on. Dinus left, so I'm gonna actually make you stop talking. I just want to tell you this. One, China's economy dipped to the negative 10% at the height of Corona. It just bounced back into the positive 3.2%, and they had a slump. Also, let me tell you, because you sound African, and Africans, when they start talking about China, they start falling in love. Every piece of information you get out of China is basically coming from the Chinese government. They do not have freedom of the press, so you will never know what's truly going on in their economy. Let me tell you another thing. Hold on.
I'm not going to say that.
Andromeda, hold on. You just
You're not right. Because the economic data I'm talking about is not coming from.
Can you please stop talking for a second so I can get my point across, and then I'll let you talk or whatever you want to do. But what I'm telling you is every piece. Listen, this is a fact versus what you're saying, which is not fact. Every piece of information you get out of China is carefully manufactured by the Chinese government. They do not have freedom of the press, so you don't know what's going on. They told you, yo, we stopped the corona deaths. Meanwhile, 20 million people died in China from corona. So you pretending to act like you know what's going on in China, it's ridiculous. But what I will tell you is this: every African person you get on this channel, right? They're talking about, hold on. You need to mute your mic. You got a lot of background noise. So look, every African that you get on this channel, they're talking about you need to do tech, you need to do engineering, you need to do this. When I go to Africa, despite what you want us to believe, there are a billion engineers, doctors, and lawyers who have no job. So when you keep on talking about tech, who's gonna hire these people who got these degrees? So when I talk about
get my bear out.
When I talk about starting from the basic industries and creating jobs and wealth through that, you guys want to try to put the cart before the horse. You guys need to stop trying to go get the European education and then return it back to your country where they don't even have money to hire you. So don't listen to these Africans when they keep talking about tech, engineering, STEM. They got their chemistry, they got chemists, they got scientists, they got lawyers, they got economists. You know what they're doing? Sitting at home because there's no one there who has enough capital to pay them to use their white man's education. So African people, the intellectuals, right, the smart ones, they like to believe that as long as they got this degree in physics or whatever, they could go back and they're going to do all this. It's a lie. We need to start hospitality industry, farming. We need to go into the basic industrial, welding, electricians, stuff like that. But we have to actually build businesses that can hire these places.
So do you understand how GDP works? Do you understand the concept?
It's not your turn to talk anymore.
Do you understand the concept of GDP? Do you understand that concept?
I understand that it's not your turn to talk.
Well, it is my turn to talk.
When he so sweet talks, then you can talk again.
You said I should wait for you to finish. So I'm talking right now.
You got a degree, bro, and you can't even follow a basic format on the YouTube channel. So
It doesn't
you
matter.
right,
It doesn't matter.
and he's so sweet.
Stop, stop avoiding the question, bro. Just answer the question. Do you understand how GDP works? Simple.
Can we go to this next person?
Yeah, Andromeda, brother, we appreciate you coming on, brother, because I want to get Honey Sweet on and Lou Major. And then
Nobody can say what's going on in China because they carefully manipulate the information that comes out. So anybody speaking on China don't know nothing.
All right, hold on. Honey Sweet, go ahead.
Well, first off, I want to thank you for allowing me to be on the show. Many blessings to everyone. And I appreciate this time with everyone. When it comes to, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you sound good.
Okay, great. Well, I do salute you, Brandon, for your audaciousness and your entrepreneurial spirit, and you taking that back home to the motherland. So, Black power on that move. And in regards to like the China gig and all that, I've done that for over 20 years. I've dealt with the Chinese, and I'm looking to take my business and what I do to the motherland. So that's what I've been, searching for in regards to where I'm going to plant my roots in the business and create not just what is on my heart is to create a business, but allow the communities, the natives there, because I'm Native Seminole and Black. So I know what it's like, to have your land stripped, to have everything stripped from you, from the Native side as well as the Black side. So for me, I'm kind of like on that plane of Ben and Jerry's, where everyone owns a stake in the business. So my goal is to make my way there by 2021, search and open up manufacturing as one opportunity, as well as an entertainment company to do entertainment, music, production, and things of that nature, television, TV, writing. I also do book writing, and congratulations on your success in book writing for children, Dinus. So there's a culmination of what I will bring to Africa. And I just wanted to get that straight and clear up front. I am a opportunist, moreover, any kind of political party, in regards to Democratic, Republican, that means nothing to me when it comes to politics. Because money moves, regardless of who politicking. I want to make certain that the money moves. So again, I'm here because what you brought to the table on the show, Brandon, in regards to investing, how to invest when you get there, who to connect with, paying $50 to an individual to as far as like, being on, a street, stomping the street and finding the land that you need to make your next move. Those are the moves that I intend to make, So I have been communicating with individuals in South Africa personally. So I'm like, when you see me comment, it's about where we putting the money. Money talk. You know what I mean? It takes money to make money, and I'm here to do that. So if that's the agenda we on, then that's the agenda I'm with.
No, our agenda is to not do anything, go get a European education, and allow our people to basically be enslaved by Chinese corporations, right? Because the guy who's talking on there, oh, you don't understand GDP. Where does that guy live? Probably he's African, but he probably don't even live in Africa. What business is he created? Oh, I send my family back money. This is what we're dealing with. I'm not knocking African people at all. But what I know is when I touch down in Africa, I go talk to, I'm a lawyer, I'm an engineer, I'm a doctor. Dinus, am I lying about that? Dinus, unmute your mic and tell me, am I lying? No, I'm not.
But Brandon,
hold on, Luke. Wait. I asked Dinus the question. Dinus, answer the question.
You're not lying.
I'm telling you the truth. Lawyer, doctor, chemist, pharmacist, all these jobs. You know what they're doing? They're sitting at home drinking Tuskers, not with no job. But Massa said that eventually, if we work for a quarter an hour, we will eventually build up our economy and be able to do all this stuff. Well, let me ask you a question. Go to Thailand, go to Vietnam, go to all these places where these companies used to be. Remember, everything used to say made in Vietnam, made in Malaysia, made in Taiwan. How are those economies doing right about now? They're still poor.
Actually, Brandon, what
you are not moving to Taiwan.
You gotta know what you're talking about, man. You're
these countries are still poor, extremely.
They're not.
Okay. The ancestors that stopped Blue Major before it could get the crazy stuff out.
Vietnam is one of
Blue Major, you're breaking up, Blue Major. Blue Major, you're breaking up, Blue Major. You're breaking up, bro. You're breaking up, Major. Blue Major, you done froze up on us, man. That's that, meet that Metro PCS, Blue Major. That's that cricket.
Most fastest growing economies on the planet.
Okay. Their whole GDP is $260 billion. Trump said he was going to give just the black community $500 billion.
We're not helping by our people. Brandon,
but their whole country,
let's some order here. Hold on. Major, you got 2 minutes, then Brandon, you got 2 minutes, and then we'll start closing out because you know.
So, go ahead. So listen. First of all, I want to start off by saying that Brandon and I are on the same page and our desires are the same. I just think that in this particular scenario, my brother Brandon here, the solutions that you're proposing, while in and of themselves are good, if your interest is actually to make a change that is meaningful and relevant towards the development of Africa, then the first thing you got to do is know what the hell you're talking about. Like, you know, I understand that starting small businesses, that is good. Depending on the level of person that you are, maybe starting a small business is what you can do, and that's a contribution. But you need to understand what the overall actual goal to development of any country is. Like, for example, you just said a whole bunch of stuff that is blatantly false and just incorrect. And what that does is if you say that type of stuff, no, Brandon, I'm actually saying this from a positive perspective. What I'm saying to you is when you say stuff like that, okay? When you say stuff like that, okay, I can't read your phone. When you say stuff like that, Brandon, okay, what it does is it diminishes your credibility.
All right.
Because I'll explain something to you. Let me explain something to you, okay? So the way a nation goes, first of all, for a nation to become wealthy, to go from poor to wealthy, it has to industrialize. So let's start off with understanding what industrialization is. Industrialization is to go from raw resource production to the production, manufacturing of finished goods that you sell to the rest of the world. So that means, let's just use hemp. That means you go from selling just plain raw hemp that you grow from the ground to selling the actual CBD oil that people use on the other side. So to do that, you need factories. Now, here's the deal. Consumers buy based off of two things, price and quality. Why is China the factory of the world? Is because they have become better at producing large amounts of goods for less money than everybody else. How did they get good at that? Because of the wealth of cheap labor that they had at their disposal that worked in those factories that allowed them to produce one Nike sneaker for 15 cents. And thus allows Nike to then sell that sneaker to you for $50 or $60. Of course, they don't because they're Nike, but the reason you're able to go to Payless and buy a pair of sneakers for $20 is because they got it from some factory in China who's able to make that same sneaker for 10 cents. And they're able to make that same sneaker for 10 cents because the people that are working there are getting $1 a day or $2 a day. Now, here's the deal. What people hear $1 a day or they hear $2 a day and they say, how atrocious is that? That's terrible that a person would make only $1 a day. I get it. But here's the deal. When you go to Africa and you build a factory that makes t-shirts, right? And you pay those guys $1 a day, you're now able to hire 500 people that otherwise wouldn't have a job. Now, here's what happens when 500 people who wouldn't have a job now have jobs, even if they're making $1 a day. Those people need to eat, right? They need food, right? They need water, right? They need clothes, right? So guess what they're going to do with that money that they now have that they wouldn't otherwise have? They go and spend it. So now the shopkeep owner, who before might have been selling 5 t-shirts a day, can now sell 30 t-shirts a day. Well, now since he's selling 30 t-shirts a day, guess what he now can do? He can hire workers, right? So you go there.
What happened to 2 minutes?
Well, here's the deal. In this particular scenario, Brandon, what I'm saying to you is, you're muted, Prince. You're muted.
Oh, my bad. Go continue, Magic. Continue. Go ahead and get out.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. So what I'm saying to you, Brandon, is what Africa needs is entrepreneurs, whether that be Black diasporans or otherwise, to go down there and create manufacturing opportunities, preferably full vertical integration. A shop owner like yourself, you create a few jobs. Good for you. You're making a difference. And I will commend you for that and give you a hug. And I'm sure the guy who works at your kiosk probably loves you. But the difference that you're making on the African continent is nominal. And so if everybody's going to Africa and opening up small kiosks like you will not have any weight. You will not have any yank on the continent, because ultimately the difference you're actually making on the continent and the economy as whole is minuscule, versus the Chinese who are showing up and they're opening up entire factories and they're hiring thousands of people.
Respond to you, Lou. You got a long-winded thing, and I just want to, because what you're doing,
I need you to understand the basics, Brandon. We got to talk about the basics that you don't understand. You don't know the basics, bro.
Listen, I have a differing opinion. Wait, bro, listen. I have a differing opinion from you, but it doesn't mean I don't understand what you're saying. What you're arguing is basically the Republican conservative viewpoint. Corporations drive the job creation in your country. But this repeatedly has been proven false, because we know that, don't interrupt me, please. I'll interrupt you. Listen.
I won't. But you can't make a statement unless it's correct.
What we have found in America to be true, despite all this, you don't know what you're talking about, is that small businesses drive the economy of every major country. Small businesses do that. That's why when you go to Kroger, the average worker makes $7 an hour. But when you go to the mom and pop shop, they might not work as many hours, but they make more money per hour. Usually you make about $12 to $15, right? So small businesses drive economies, not corporations. Corporations go in and say, how can we make the most profit? By giving people the bare minimum. That's what corporations do. No one will argue that. So since I'm the one who doesn't understand basic economy, right? Let me tell you something. When you look at Vietnam, Taiwan, their GDP is 200 billion, expected to be 200 billion, expected to be 500 billion, right? For 20 years, every product you bought said made in Vietnam, made in Taiwan. So after they basically got hoed by the corporations, they came out and their country's economy is still tiny. So you're telling Africans, if you let them come and basically molest you economically, you're going to grow to this big giant. No, you're not. You're still going to be poor, because the minute you start demanding better treatment in the workplace, that company's going to say, look, we are out of here. Boom. Now you're going to have a depression. Then you're going to have a depression, and it's going to be very public, because China carefully censors what's going on with their economy. So nobody on this panel could say they truly know what's going on in China. Now, They say, no, you can't. No, you can't.
Brandon, let me just quickly ask one quick question.
I didn't interrupt you.
Do you
I didn't
say
interrupt
that
you.
you truly know what's going on in America?
No, you have to wait. You have to wait.
I want to ask that question.
Wait your turn, please. Now look, we're pretending like let the corporations come in and manipulate you and use you, and then you're going to be richer. But we see time and time again that that's not true. Corporations go wherever the labor is cheapest. And if you go to Vietnam, Cambodia, Thailand, Taiwan, all these countries where these corporations came and took everything from them or they work for pennies, those places are no better off now based on inflation than they were 20 or 30 years ago because they still have a ginormous poor population. They did not create a middle class, and now it's hurting them.
Yeah, I'm going
to. So what we're going to do in Africa is go over there. We're going to create a middle class where people get paid a fair wage, like I do, right? And then those people will truly be empowered to create businesses where these people with the science and engineering degrees can actually get employed. This is what works. Nobody in America is going to work for those crumbs, and that's why America grows. What African countries need to do is raise the bar on their standards so then we can go find people to work for cheap for us to make goods that we produce, and then we can sell them to the rest of the world. That's what works economically.
All right, so
by the way, just so you know.
Okay, hold on. This is what we're gonna do. No, Lou Major, hold on. Okay, so Lou Major, fine. Don't take too long. Then we're gonna close out.
I won't.
Well, hold on. Honey, you got a minute. Go ahead.
I'll say this much real quickly. In Brandon's defense and in Lou Major's defense, we'll keep in mind with this. Amazon, he started with just selling books, and look at him today. And same way with Walmart. Now, quickly, I'm on the manufacturing aspect, like Akon when he did with his lighting of Senegal in his new city that he's building. For me, it's about empowering the people through manufacturing on a larger scale. I'm not knocking what Brandon's doing because you have to start somewhere. It's better than not starting anything at all. But for the bigger picture, I'm looking at the bigger picture if I'm able to pull it off with the right people. But I salute you, gentlemen. Thank you for having me on the show, Dinus. I appreciate it. And to everyone watching, everybody do their part, put in, take care of your business, make it happen. I'm making it happen. If you want to jump on with me, let's go. I'm ready. I got money lined up. I know manufacturers. I just got to get like Brandon and get on the ground over there and start, networking and teaming up. And anytime y'all have a board talk or y'all want to have like a sit talk or a summit talk and we all come in person, we can do that too. Count me in.
Thank
y'all
you.
stay blessed, stay safe, stay healthy.
Peace. All right, Lume, go ahead.
I'm sorry, man. I was listening to what this young woman was saying. I know it was good, but I got so distracted because that woman's fine as hell. But anyway, let's go ahead and get back focused to what I was saying. Okay. She is, man. That girl was fine as hell, man. Y'all know it. All of y'all was distracted too, so don't make me feel like I'm the only person. I'm just the only man enough
for $1 an hour in a sweatshop.
Okay, anyway, back to what I was actually saying. I'm going to use something that we all love and enjoy. Coffee. Everybody loves coffee. I love coffee. We all love coffee. I'm drinking coffee right now. You know what where the best coffee in the world comes from?
Colombia.
That's incorrect. It comes from it comes from Tanzania, right by Kilimanjaro. It's called Tanzanian Blue Mountain Coffee. For one 12-ounce bag of Tanzanian Blue Mountain Coffee, the British will pay 12 British pounds for it, which is about $15. Okay. Do you know how much a kilo of that stuff will cost? A kilo in Tanzania, 1 kilo.
30 cents?
$3. $3. That's if you buy it from the exporter. If you go directly to the farmer himself, half that, maybe a third, $1. Now, that means in the entire value chain, by the time the consumer gets it, right? Now, that's if the consumer buys the coffee bag, doesn't buy it from a coffee shop. We're saying the consumer gets just a pack of coffee. This guy pays $15 for it. But the guy who put in and worked to grow the coffee got $1. That means he missed out on $14. Now, what I'm saying is the key to helping Africa. Why did he only get $1? Because all he does is he grows the green coffee. Then somebody has to then take that coffee and process it into a consumable good and then package it and sell it to the consumer. Here's the irony about this whole thing. And coffee is particularly atrocious because getting coffee from where it's the coffee berry, where it looks like a little berry, to go into green coffee, where it looks like coffee beans that are green, to go into roasted consumable coffee is a very simple process, right? Now, here's the deal. If a person were to go, which is what I, by the way, want to do, not a shameless plug, I'm just saying, again, an example of something I'm looking to do. When I announced to you and I said, I want to start B1 Coffee many, many moons ago. It's a very simple process of buying a coffee farm, growing coffee on it, then doing the manufacturing of the finished coffee product, which is you take it from coffee berry to green coffee to roasted consumable coffee, then you package it and ship it all over the world. You could sell the same coffee for $15 to the same British guy who's going to buy it. But just by me vertically integrating it and leveraging the cheap labor force on the African continent, I could now sell them the same Tanzanian Blue Mountain coffee for $10. And I'm able to capture the entire value chain. That's what happens with African industrialization. So that means instead of Africa getting $1, Africa gets $10. Now, in that process, you've created jobs on the farm, you created jobs in the processing facility, you created jobs in the packaging facility, and created jobs in the logistics facility. Go ahead and get it out of there. Then on top of that, since you've created all of those jobs, those guys got to go spend money because they got to eat, they got to do stuff. So now the shopkeeper who they normally go to get their whatever they get, he's got to hire more people. So now you've created more jobs. But why are you able to do that? It is that you leverage the low cost of labor that is available on the African continent, and you leverage that to create a more competitive product on the global market, and thus you're able to suck all of that money out of the West and into Africa. That's what the Chinese did. That's how the Chinese got rich.
Okay, you made your point, but what I want to tell you is we have to go based on history, bro. You can't say, oh, you work for
look
Trump.
at history.
Hold on, wait. You can't say, oh, you work
for Trump. Let me just say this, and it's all yours. I'll give you my word. Brandon, every developed nation, every single one of them, anybody could go look this up, all had to go from an agrarian to an industrialized economy. And all of them leveraged cheap, or in the case of America, free labor to do it. America became rich because they grew more cotton than everybody else, and they owned the textile industry. That's when cotton was king. And they used black slave labor to do it. That's why America's rich today. That's how America industrialized. They grew the cotton in the South with the cheap African black labor. They sent it to the North where it got processed into textiles using cheap Irish labor or immigrant labor. Then they exported the finished product to the Europeans. That's how they got rich. The Europeans, they got rich by colonizing Africa, leveraging black labor again to extract raw resources. Then they sent it to Europe and they created finished products and sent that all over the world. Okay, that's how you get rich.
Now let me say
China got rich. Wait. China got rich by, rather than exploiting the labor of outsiders, they exploited their own 1 billion person labor force, became a manufacturing superpower, and now they're the second largest economy in the world. Africa needs to do the same thing. We have cheap labor and lots of it. Young, cheap labor. We have natural resources. We have everything.
Okay, let me respond to you because you said I'm gonna say this one thing and then you went on it. Okay, let me say this. This is what I'm trying to tell you.
It's all yours.
Listen, what you're saying to the average layman, yeah, that sounds accurate, but it's not. because what we've constantly seen based on history is once you let these people in to exploit your people, then the government is like, yo, we got to get our cut. So it's just like, it's just like in Ghana with the cocoa situation. You can only sell it to who? The government. Then the government takes it and sells it to whoever they want to sell it to, and they got to get their cut. So they lowball you on the price. And that's like socialism, right? But I guarantee you, if Uhuru Kenyatta in Kenya can become a billionaire off of dairy farming in Kenya, if you let a capitalist come in there and run that coffee situation, he will not only make a huge profit from that situation from A to Z, he will also be put in a position to give people more money for their labor. That's how America got to where it was, because you have people like Andrew Carnegie, Rockefeller, people like that, who were big tycoons who hired American people to create things that American people needed. And then other countries too, because we became an exporter. But American people handled those exports and ran those companies. And once those companies got on their feet with Americans running them, the workers began to unionize and demand better treatment. So in America, Americans can run their industries and their production and outsource the materials, right? Because America went through industrialization too, but that didn't involve another country coming in, making Americans work for slave labor. That involved Americans setting up companies and factories for their people to work. So the same way America did that, which made it the most biggest economy on the planet, the same way African countries can do that too. And we, instead of trying to sell our people out, what we need to do is work on allowing the capitalism to happen in Africa, so that African billionaires, right, can go in and get a return on their money, and so they can export everything, and all that money comes back into Africa. You got Dangote, other billionaires who can go into different countries, spend some billions, take over these industries, and outsource this stuff. Just say you don't even need China to do that.
Okay, let's do this. Lou Major, let's do this. All right. Can we do a separate show tomorrow? Because I got to go. Can we do a separate show tomorrow? What time, Lou Major? You guys tell me what time. We'll do a separate show tomorrow, specifically dealing on economics, or, I guess capitalism good for Africa. There we go. Capitalism good for Africa, or what's the future of Africa? I don't know. Can we do a separate show tomorrow? Lou Major, I know you got a lot you want to get off your chest. I know you do, but I just gotta go. Y'all both some.
Yeah. Our people just gotta be slaved to make progress, but Japanese people don't gotta do that. Nobody gotta do that but Black people.
Yeah. So let's do this. Let's do a show tomorrow. Guys, we're gonna come back tomorrow. We're gonna do a show. Let's go ahead and close out. Everyone, thank you much for joining. Like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you guys again tomorrow evening, afternoon. Next time, family. The Nightmare Search for Huru. Peace.